All right, boys. It's
By
nice
the
and
way,
beautiful.
just a
This
heads
is
up.
a spoon. We're not doing a dab. We don't do that baby shit.
Just a heads up. I'm going to be dipping out at about 5 minutes to 9, so I can go jump on the Roger Stone AMA, ask him a question, and then I'll be back. I'll hop back in after that.
You just did you do the first topic, and then when it gets to like 9, if we haven't moved on, we'll move on or whatever.
All
and
right.
then no milk. We're just doing water afterwards. No milk. All right. So this is Fear this 1.5 to 2.2 million Scoville. You get your money's worth, guys. You get your money's worth. Okay. Apparently, I need to shake it more.
Dude, I needed a knife to get it out.
Prime is looking at the monitor, extremely confused.
Oh God. Oh God. Who donated 25? EOD 696. Thank you so much for the donation. All right. All right.
Hey,
EOD is a great guy, by the way. Shout out to EOD.
Can you plug the link so I can put it in my chat to donate to Gamers for Love?
Yeah, just type exclamation point charity. Okay, I'm literally gonna need the knife, the peanut butter knife, to get this out. Oh, this is so thick. This is dangerous. This is not gonna be fun. Okay, I got the tip out. Will it pour now? No, it won't. It's so thick. Oh God, this is gonna be bad.
Someone clip this.
It's
please.
the Gamers for Charity.
On, there's so much comedy happening right here.
Oh God. Oh, I'm so scared. I'm so fucking.
You missed it just before you came in, Prime. He was.
Oh, here we go.
He was lathering his beer with peanut butter, and I was obviously putting cheese in mine.
Okay, so this much hot sauce,
Jeez.
an entire spoonful. All right, boys.
Have you tried this one before? Like, I'm
Nope.
just thinking of long term for the hours of streaming.
No. Hear me out. I'm gonna scream. It's gonna suck. But like, I've done Buffalo Wild Wings Blazing Challenge back to back before and been fine. All right, so this is 1.5 to 2.2 million Scoville, an entire spoonful. Let's go. Holy shit.
Your turn, Mark.
Give me, yeah. I'll get there in just a second.
Oh, fuck. Oh, it's thick. It's like in my teeth.
Just hot sauce.
Oh. Holy fuck. Oh, it's worse. Oh. Take this away from me. Oh, I'm already crying. Oh. No water yet. We're gonna be a goddamn man. Toxic masculinity on full display for your $1,000, boys. Is anybody in the waiting room yet? Yes, Milwaukee's best. Fuck it, come along. And Binks is here. Oh. Who we missing? Missing Aristocracy, but she said she had some stuff happening, so she may or may not show up. We're gonna give her a couple more minutes. Oh fuck! I don't even want to think about drinking anything. Oh my god!
Water's just gonna make it worse.
Oh, we're gonna do it anyways.
All right, the tweet's out.
Oh, it's lemon water.
It's cheating.
Oh, I need tissues. Holy fuck!
What's happening? What's going on?
He took a spoonful of hot sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're fucking insane, man.
Oh fuck! It's so much worse than it was on the burger last night.
Yeah, dude, it's 1 point. It's like 2 million Scoville, dog. A whole spoonful is so bad.
I will do one if someone else wants to fucking donate. Like, who in here would? We can all take a shot at fucking
Milwaukee's best. You are so loud.
That's always Milwaukee.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Loud and clipping.
It's moving down my throat.
Yeah, it travels. It travels the whole way down, dude.
I think you guys are playing it up.
Dude, it's 1.5 to 2.2 million Scoville.
No, I've had 2 million Scoville. It's up there.
Rib to your bathroom. Holy shit! Someone donated 25. Corey, evil leftist. Thank you so much. Don't be a bitch. You suffer on camera, sir.
All right, if everyone else in here can donate 25 bucks, will you all take a shot of the hot sauce?
All right. So
the hottest hot sauce you got in your house. Let's all take a shot if people are donating. Let's do it.
All right, Milwaukee. Here soon. We're gonna wait a couple more minutes, and then panelists that have prepped will love to discuss this debate. Let's see, who are we missing? We're missing. Looks like we're just missing Eris and Ranger and Rogue can't make it. I can't divulge his everything stuff, and I won't. But he's at the hospital right now.
Dude, that sucks.
Bad reaction to something. He'll be all right. But
I love debating Ranger.
No. He explained the whole story. Holy shit! No, Sprout
might sweat out this head paint.
Oh, he put cheese on it? Okay. I don't know if that's better, but okay.
Oh, okay. Regardless, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, who donated? Robin Lucas, $25. Thank you so much.
I said, if we get to the 1,500, let's all take a shot. Let's all take a shot of the fucking hot sauce. If we get you 1,500 within the first hour.
Guys. Zonia. Oh, God, people.
It's all right.
Oh.
No, I believe you, man.
There's a lot happening in this panel. I'm just trying to catch up, okay?
I feel like I just blew a demon.
It actually hurts my chest.
Right?
It's
Drink
like
some
a
milk.
miniature heart attack.
Drink some milk.
I don't have milk.
We do have heavy cream.
The gain
I
is
do have
high.
heavy cream, but I feel like I do not want to vomit out. Okay. All right.
All right, MC now. Come on.
All right. Hold on. I'm gonna DM Eris, see if she's coming. Oh, give you 5 minutes. All right, boys. All right. So everybody's. I'm mumbling. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing all right.
Better than
Fantastic. I'm very entertained.
Oh man.
I'm doing all right.
Z somewhere, yeah. Just hit exclamation charity just like that if you want to give. Oh man. I'm happy when this goes away. This is some next level shit right now. Zonia, so we were forced to react to a Nick Fuentes clip earlier. And he was discussing that not having sex at all is the least gay thing you can do. And so by my estimation, it is true that those that claim the title of asexual are actually the least gay. What do you think about that, Zonia?
I've seen that particular video, that clip, and I think it's kind of silly because it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But
I'm pretty sure he's trolling.
Yeah, he seems like he's trolling. I know that he himself identifies as an incel, right? So, or something like that. Or I know he's celibate and he's a virgin. And I think when he was talking to Destiny a few weeks ago, he actually stated that he considers himself to be an incel. So I'm not too sure like where all that is going. But
I don't know how you can be an incel when you're famous, right? Like I feel like you're not really involuntary. Like somebody would.
Yeah, well, somebody would, but the thing is, when it comes to incels, like they say that it's not all about just getting laid; it's about actually finding someone who wants to spend their life with them, right? So,
Memento, Sansol just came in with a rate of 33.
Oh, nice.
I just had a giant spoonful of 1.5 to 2.2 million Scoville hot sauce. I'm recovering. Thank you for the raid. Thank you so much. Continue.
Is it colder in here to you? Like, are you shivering?
Yeah, so
I'm not shivering. No.
Mark's shivering.
I know. Like being asexual, I certainly get to see things from a very abstracted outside perspective. So, it does give me an interesting sort of like external, from the outside looking in kind of view of things. As for the least gay, I don't even know how to quantify that as anything. It doesn't make any sense to me. I would say we're just like there's different, as a certain someone that you hate would say, asexuality is a spectrum. And
Who is it that I hate?
Mr. Girl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everything is a spectrum, right? That's his thing. So, or not everything, but most things. So I would say that for those of us who are like really kind of like blank slate asexual, there's not really any kind of leaning toward one sex or another or anything like that. When people have asked me before, like at one point, Eris asked me on her stream when we were talking one time, what I would consider myself to be, and I basically said that I would consider myself to be politically pan, as in, like, I think that if I thought I was sexual, like if I ever had any kind of sexual attraction, I'd like to think that I would be attracted to whoever. Like I wouldn't really care, but I have no way of really knowing. Like to me, everybody's the same, so I don't. There's not an interest there, but I'd like to think that I would be pan. So I would call myself like politically pan, as in like I'm, pan, but I don't have sex and I don't have any interest in anybody. So, right. It's a political thing more than anything else.
Fair enough. Well, it seems like I'm not getting a response.
Maybe that means that we're the most gay.
Maybe. So it seems like Eris is not going to be able to make it. Milwaukee, if you want to debate me on anything right after this panel, we're going to do that. We may have some surprise people come in, but I want to stick to people that are like kind of, been in the debate sphere before and let this get a little bit smooth. I'm not trying to be mean when I kick you out for just a moment, but just after the panel, anybody on chat can debate me on anything, and I want to get this panel started so I'm not wasting these lovely guys and girls' time. So I will see you later, Milwaukee. Is that all right, brother?
I'm sure most of these people on this panel know me.
Yeah, fair enough. It's already melting. It's already melting, boys. I put together this panel, but I appreciate it. But yeah, I just want to make sure that we have like a good balance of people that are veterans in the space. Awesome, thank you. Hold on, just. Oh my god, my keyboard has peanut butter on it.
No, it's fine. I'll leave. Spartacus knows me. Prime knows me.
Yeah, we know
I've
you,
been
brother.
on other debates, but cool.
Well, also your mic is like really, really bad right now. Like, oh fuck, that was peanut butter. That was hot sauce on my keyboard. Oh fuck.
Are you sure it's not cum?
It starts
are you
again.
Positive it's not cum?
I'm not.
All right.
I think he needs to taste it again.
There's a non-zero chance it's jizz.
Toxic Apple pushed us to our donation goal already. We're at 1,500. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait until topic 1 is done before we move on, because I can literally not handle fish sauce right now. Cannot handle fish sauce.
Can you explain what the charity is about?
Yeah. So Games for Love is a charity that does primarily one thing, but 2 other things. The thing they primarily do is they give gaming computers and consoles and equipment to children in hospitals that are stuck in hospitals, that have nothing else to do, nowhere to go. They're just like kind of losing their mind in the hospital, allowing them to like have some sense of like connection, get online as opposed to just talking to hospital staff, have some fun, and hopefully like have less stress so they can have a better managed stress for their health in the hospital. They also donate. They also sponsor people in third world countries that are oh god, the hot sauce is so much. They also sponsor people in third world countries that do not have the financial capacity to meet all of their medical needs, either for long-term care or also because they need the money up front for like life-saving surgeries and things like that. And lastly, they give grants to people going into STEM, science, technology, engineer, mathematics, that have faced medical hardships before in their life. So kids that are like, had cancer and like beat leukemia, apply for a grant to try and get into STEM, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a great charity, actually. Marketing budget is high if you look up their numbers, but they're also brand new. And so like, when charities first start off, they tend to have a pretty large marketing budget because they're trying to get their name out there, get money, get donations. And I think they've helped like over 1 million kids already So it's a good charity, I think.
Sounds
That
like
being
it.
said, hold on. Oh, God damn it. The DMs. Oh, how do you do this? How do you do this, PrimeCayes? All right, aristocracy says she's coming.
Yeah.
So
They,
I'm going to wait just a minute to start.
Their
Yeah,
goal
I
is
was pestering her in DMs.
Their goal is to reach 10 million children in 5 years.
I think they will. I think they will if you guys donate, and we've already met our major goal for the night. So, goodness gracious.
I didn't
I'm
expect
not
it would
looking
take an
forward
hour
to
and 15 minutes for that to happen.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Oh, Eris,
He is amazing.
you're as animated as ever, I see.
Oh God, that was
You're
that
waiting
was
to
so
say that
corny.
one.
I see what you did there.
Oh man, my stomach hurts from that.
Right?
Oh
my,
God.
My lips still hurt. Like I just feel my lips burning.
Wait, were you guys doing drugs?
No, we just did a large spoonful of 1.5 to 2.2 million Scoville hot sauce.
Yeah, the drugs are for the $5,000 goal, right?
I was also
$5,000.
I was also doing drugs, but
Yeah,
All
$5,000 and fat lines all around.
For the children.
All right, so Mark, do you want to cut off your camera? Unless you want to help moderate, which I don't think you per se are interested in tonight.
I don't think it warrants two moderators. I think this crew can handle you.
Yeah, this is a group of professionals. If you cut your camera off, I'll do non-video participants, and then we'll move forward. Oh my God, there's peanut butter everywhere. So we are doing a charity stream, and on that charity stream, we're going to do a charity panel, ladies and gentlemen. That charity panel is going to discuss topics involving charity. We may have some people come in and out, and that's okay. There's some other events that are occurring tonight, but primarily there's going to be two topics tonight. And it's kind of a meta about discussing charities as we do this, because I think often, we think of charity as like a default good thing and all charity good and people who give to charity good. And there's a lot of nuance that can be had in that conversation about the way charities work and, what is a good charity and like, should charity be utilized in certain regards, et cetera, et cetera. And so with that, I invited together a few people that are veterans in the space to kind of talk about this. If we want to go kind of round robin, starting at top left, moving left to right, and then down, and just kind of introduce yourselves and tell us a little about who you are, and maybe give a little love. Ooh, Binks, go ahead.
Oh, I'm first? Okay. Hi, I'm Binks. Haven't streamed in a while. Appreciate the invite. I do stream occasionally on Twitch. I'm going to be hosting a charity stream tomorrow, actually, for other streamers who break their taste buds doing charity streams. It's a very specific cause, but would appreciate your support.
Appreciate it. I'm going to need it. All right, and with that, Corey Campbell.
Yeah. Well, I'm Corey Campbell. I think some in your community know me. As usual, super grateful that you reached out to me to invite me here. Super happy to be here. I'm a PhD candidate in biochemistry. I also work part-time at a biotech startup that specializes in surface plasmon resonance. And on my streams, I cover science, research, some politics. I also do the occasional workout stream. You can find me on Twitch, Corey Campbell, twitch.tv, Corey Campbell 84, and on Instagram and Twitter at literally it's Corey Campbell. And yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And aristocracy.
Hi, I'm Aristocracy. You could call me Eris. I do primarily history streaming, and I stream about like once a week. I try to look at things from a historical perspective, whether it's politics, relationships, celebrity stuff, anything. We always look at it from historical stuff, and it's a cool community if you want to get involved in a less ideological space. And start learning. But yeah, thanks for having me here.
And I'll go next. He's muted, but I'm sure he's saying me.
Yes, you next, Sproticus.
All right. So I'm the Sproticus. Twitch and Twitter at the Sproticus. You see me on a lot of panels. My views vary quite far apart. I've just tried to be as genuine as I can. And so that's why you'll, depending on who you ask, you'll get a different political alignment.
All right, wonderful. Prime, you go ahead.
Thanks so much. Hello, hi. My name is PrimeCayes. I think most of the audience might be familiar with me because we have our friend Scott on all the time. So we do debate panels. We bring in a whole bunch of people. We argue. It's a whole lot of fun, and we let audience members also take part, like coming on screen and having being a part of the conversation. So yeah, if you want to check us out at PrimeCayes, PrimeCayes. We'd love to have you. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Yeah, the hot sauce is beating Scott. Zonia, I think you're the only one left, Zonia.
Hello, I'm Zonia. You may have seen me around on various panel shows and stuff and various streams. And you can find me Zonia Dead at Twitch. And there you can find my socials on my About page and such. I am a far-right Christian nationalist, and I stand authoritarianism. So, yeah, it's great to be here with some people that I love to hang out with. So, awesome being on a panel with Eris as well. Good to see you again. And good to be here.
I'm guessing
love to see the representation.
Guessing I'm what?
I'm guessing your views have changed, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
I just,
makes a lot of sense.
honestly, big Papa Fascist has rubbed off on me. So I've been going to church regularly and stuff. And
I hope you mean like figuratively speaking, of course.
No, she meant physically.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't judge, by all means.
What's figurative church?
We just got done with the asexual talk.
Oh.
Anyways,
I mean,
thanks for having me.
non-sexual rubbing. Okay. That's what I was imagining.
You know, Eris, a little birdie told me that your political views might be shifting here soon.
Oh yeah, I've become an ANCAP.
Yeah, I mean, love to hear it. Finally, we'll have some genuine ANCAP representation here on Twitch.
Yeah, I'm an ANCAP with monarchy aesthetics, which I feel like really help convince people that, you know, our ideas have substance.
Yeah, that makes sense because you kind of show the result of it, right? So you can see it on the bling and the tiara and everything, right?
And the fakeness.
Item.
It's ANCAP, but you still get the royalty. So
Yeah.
Yep.
You've got
Sorry, I
a king
jumped.
and
I
a
think
queen,
he
but they just
punched
have
the-
zero power.
the tub, and it scared the shit out of me. I thought someone was about to kick in our door.
Eris shows where the ideals of ANCAPs end up, right? So they banish the state, and then someone amasses power, being Eris, right? She uses her army to crush and suppress all challengers, and then you have the monarchy. Makes sense.
I'm
By the
having
way-
to know my tactic. Why are you telling everyone?
By the way, is Eris
I
a
don't know.
little quiet for everybody? Because I got her maxed
Oh,
out.
sorry. I can be closer to my mic.
All right, that's better.
I don't know. I might kiss Eris's ring. Who knows? The whole spectacular execution thing, like, it's kind of got me on board. I'm not gonna lie.
You'd be surprised at how many people want public executions, you know? Like, I think
wanna
that
know-
you can really join the far left and the far right together on that one.
That's
Turn that horseshoe
that's
into
true.
a full circle. I love it.
public hangings every
Yeah.
town square.
Yeah. Isn't it
Alright.
weird to have it like executions without it being public? I feel like it's like messed up for it to
It's
be
I think
like,
it's
uh,
weird.
well,
not
yeah,
for
we're like-
executions, period.
We're
I feel like it's a
hiding.
private affair.
Yeah, we're hiding
That's
our
just me
dirty
personally.
laundry. It's like either be open about it or don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Here's the question:
Keep it
how
in.
long? Like, if you do a public execution, the whole idea is to be like detrimental to everybody else. So, how long would you just leave it the way it is after it's done as a detriment to other people committing that crime?
Wait, like how long would you leave the body there? Like I
For
don't-
Yeah,
example,
it's a rock.
for example, the Romans left people on crosses
Yeah,
as
gibbets and
detriment.
stuff. Yeah.
Well,
no,
just
I don't.
really
I think
cut the
that's
head off and
that's
put it on the
problem
plate.
for
That's a
spreading
public
disease.
health issue. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, they can be
Like-
behind glass. You know, it can be in an
Like-
enclosure.
When you behead somebody, you can dip the head in epoxy, and then soccer or football, depending on what you call it, is kind of a growing sport in a lot of areas. So you could do that.
The problem is that I would rather use their body like for the community, like and give it to science and distribute
Yeah.
like the skin to burn victims and stuff. So to me it's inefficient to just let it rot.
All
Yeah,
right.
forget-
Well,
Don't let
I
anything
forget,
go to
Eris,
waste.
did
Though.
you-
You can
did you-
use every little bit.
I forget, Eris, did you have I forget what your background was. I know you're mostly Jewish, but like, did you actually have any Native American blood in you?
No, though the East Asian blood is actually pretty similar to native blood. Like it's
Okay.
similar, but it's not.
So did they use all of the body, all of the corpse for the animals they killed?
I have no clue.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Did we start or did we not start?
No.
No, I was
We
real
were talking
permissive
about
and just kind of
Public
let it spiral.
beheadings, right? And
All right, so new topic. How far should you go for your charity stream, and should it include randomly needing to go vomit?
Of course.
I
Of
mean,
Oh.
I was trying to keep that in mind for the next 5 hours. Try
Oh,
to
good.
warn
We're
you.
good now.
You know
We're
what's- you know
good
what-
now.
You know
Did
what
it-
comes
did it
after the
also-
vomit, though, right?
and Cap.
Like
Sorry,
you got
and
something
Cap,
else to
I'm
look
sorry.
forward to.
Scott,
And
did it? I apologize. Yeah, socialist over there. Did it burn coming back out?
Oh yes, it did,
Oh.
but it's out of my stomach, and I feel like $1 million, boys. I'm feeling great. I'm ready to do even more punishment towards myself, in the name of these children. All right.
Round 2 of hot
Also,
sauce.
for the no, fuck that. For the record, that was horrible. That was. I'm not gonna lie. That was. You don't want to be a part of that. For the record, we were like, let's do the cinnamon challenge. They're like, we're not allowed to do that. And I've done it before. Way less worse than what I just did. Oh, wait until the fish sauce. Oh, dude, fish sauce might be way later tonight that we fulfill that goal. But I appreciate you guys devolving and waiting on me while I punished myself for the children and for the charity. And so with that, I would love to get started. I know some of you can only be here for one topic and then dip out, and we'll have a bit of a discussion, and we may have somebody else come in. Thank you so much. But with that being said, I'm going to read off the first topic, and then we'll do round robin like we did with introductions, and just kind of give an intro statement and kind of see where this goes. It's all in the name of charity. So the first topic is, are charity streams as valuable as political activism? Many streamers engage in fundraising for charities and claim that this is a form of activism, but does this actually help, or is this just virtue signaling? Does charity do anything when governments have the power to make so much larger changes? Are streamers just pretending for clout, but won't actually go out and touch grass? All right, Binks, you're first up. I promise I'll go in reverse order next time.
Oh shit, I'm first. All right. Okay. So I personally love charity. I think it's great. I know it's controversial. I think there are good things that it does, and those good things outweigh the bad. In fact, I think personally, Scott, I think there should be a law. I think there should be a law saying you should have to do charity. That should be mandatory. And yeah, that's my take. Is it better than political activism? Yes, because political activism is stupid. You should not do it unless you're like, I don't know, like a liberal, and you could probably get a job at like the CIA or something. But yeah, yeah.
That's why I love you, Binks. Always with the most based of base takes. Corey Campbell here to go against this, whatever this Q-spiracy is over here on the other side. How are we doing, Corey? What is your take?
Very well. My take is I'm a big fan of charity, specifically like effective altruism. Big fan of that. Peter Singer has a great TED talk about effective altruism. I believe it's kind of a moral obligation in that if you're in a position to give, you should give. I'm also somewhat in favor of state mandated giving in the form of taxation as well. But when it comes to streamers and charity, I think it's hard to argue that it's simply virtue signaling because they're actually, presumably, if it's a legit charity, they are actually doing something, and that money's going somewhere. As opposed to like my conception of virtue signaling is like, not actually doing or engaging in really anything meaningful. And then, when it comes to actually giving, I would agree that there are absolutely bad charities out there, and it's really hard to like tease out what is a good charity, what is a bad charity. Thankfully, there are websites like givewell.org that ranks charities based off the amount of good that they can do, and that you can pretty much, hopefully make an informed decision of where your money goes. And that's basically my take. Oh, and I'll actually end. Peter Singer.
Peter Singer. Okay.
And I will say that I would argue that it's in our human nature to give, as in the science says that we actually have positive feelings when we give to other people, and we participate in pro-social spending.
I totally agree with everything you just said. I'll also just add that the fact that we're being pro-charity is considered somewhat of a controversial take is crazy, and just shows how degenerate we've become as a society. And there is a lot of very worthy criticism of charity, especially over the past 200 years, as like the West has created like a culture of charity. We've learned a lot. There's been bad charities. There's been measurable improvements to charities and all that stuff. And I can get into that later on in the panel. But just because there have been charities that have done bad things and there have been flaws doesn't mean that charity as in itself is bad. It just means we need to be better, and we need to hold these organizations more accountable and all those things. I think charity also has massive mental health benefits and benefits for individuals and for communities, and people who criticize like the entire concept of charity. There's some like good I'm guessing that the arguments will be focused much more on like government should be filling these roles, and I do think government should be filling a lot of those roles as well, but you can have both, and there can also be charitable arms of the government. That's also like a possibility. And I also think doing a mandated like community service, in Israel there's mandated military service, but if you have ideological reasons or moral reasons or religious reasons why you can't go to the army, then you do community service. And to me, obviously I'm against military service, but I would love to have mandated community service. I think that would be incredibly good for people. Yeah, that's it.
All right, Sprouticus.
All right. I don't think charity is political activism, and anyone that says that charity is political activism is virtue signaling, and I would argue that that's why they're giving to charity in a public form. Personally, when I give the charity, I give the charity in private. I don't want it to be used for my name. I don't want my name to be out there saying that I gave to this charity and like that, because I don't see a use in that being public. I don't see a use in telling people that I donated to charity. That seems backwards. The idea of charity is to give myself the recognition when it's supposed to be an act of generosity. And so when people say that charity is political activism, I think that's just a virtue signal. But overall, charity is good. And if people need to believe that charity is political activism to give money to it, then albeit let them say it's political activism and give charity money.
All right. How about you, PrimeCayes? How do you feel about whether or not the ties between political activism and streamers and charity and all the like?
I'll say it. I'm anti-charity. I think that charity is a good, not even a good. It's a bandage that we put over our societal issues that we can much better tackle if we had a government that cared, a government investment. Like we could actually solve these issues. In terms of healthcare, we could solve that. That's a problem that legislation could be written up tonight and sent out, and we can actually solve this issue of healthcare in America. There was just a report talking about how many people died during the pandemic. 334,000 people died because we didn't have Medicare for all, right? A charity is not going to make up that investment. Now, living in the world that we do, right? Like, I'll take a bandage, right, over a gushing wound, sure, but I'm anti-charity.
All right, first anti-charity person here. How about
don't worry,
you?
I got your back, buddy. I got your back.
Always, of course. I appreciate it. How you doing, Sonia?
Doing all right. I kind of align with Prime on this, even though I'm not anti-charity, not like I wouldn't say that I am opposed to charity. What I'm opposed to is our reliance on charity, right? It becomes a crutch, and we become dependent upon it, and we use it as a way of like putting off other responsibilities that I think our tax dollars could address. And if we're going to tax the people and take money from the people and govern, then I think that tax money should be used by the government to invest in the well-being of its citizens, and to ensure the proper well-being, public health, etc. And the ability for the population to thrive and become sort of like, the more you invest in your citizenry, the more they're going to be able to provide back for the country and build the country to be stronger, right? So, but we use charity as sort of a way of escaping, putting our tax dollars into things that can benefit various communities and various people that struggle. So that's where I think there's a big problem. It just becomes this crutch, and it becomes an excuse, and then we end up not ever solving the problems that we have to solve. And then, of course, it turns into sort of like a guilt tripping thing, where we got to kind of pull on people's heartstrings just to get them to donate to some charity somewhere, right? And we got to, go through this song and dance to try and, for instance, downing some extremely hot sauce in order to get people to donate to the charity. So,
But then
debasing ourselves.
Throw it back up. We're good now, boys. We're good now.
We'll debase ourselves if you donate.
Unsurprisingly, Zonia said it better than I did.
So before opening it up, one of the things the reason I chose this topic is like one of the things I see often is this critique of like streamers and other people doing these charity events when they're saying like, you're sitting in your home and like, sure, you're doing a good thing by like trying to drive people to give money to something. But like, there are people out there touching grass that are trying to get the government to fix these problems, or like trying to get legislation pushed to do this. And you're kind of sitting there and you're not even giving your own money. You're getting positive attention by giving other people's money to a cause that other people would say, and you know who you're talking to, so this isn't my opinion, but other people would say, would be better left towards spending that time towards political activism or using your voice to get bills passed and things
But
like
you are.
Are you
giving your own
telling
money.
me like every? Are you telling me that like every corporation does?
Open it up.
Every
Okay.
corporation does this. Every corporation will have a charity event, and they will use that money to donate it to charity to get tax write-offs. That way, they have to pay tax. That way, they don't have to pay as much taxes at the end of the year. Every big company will do this. Every big company does this for the most part. And this is just common practice. And I don't know how known this is, but it's a very common practice thing to do is for companies to put on like some charity event and donate all that money and to get tax write-offs.
And I wouldn't say that someone doing a charity stream is like, I wouldn't call it political activism, because that doesn't fit the definition of political activism, but it is better than doing nothing, right? So I would like those people to go out and do some actual, on the ground grassroots, trying to motivate people and motivate representatives to actually change things and fix things. But there's a good, it's unlikely that most of them are going to do that. And so if those who would never end up doing that anyway, end up spending some of their time on their stream actually raising funds for a good cause, then I think that's a good thing. It's better than doing nothing, right?
When someone streams, even if they're not technically like literally donating money themselves, but if they're doing a charity event, they're still giving money, right? Because money is time as a streamer, 100%. You're also, all the earnings that you would normally take in that stream, are going obviously to the charity. I've never seen a charity stream. Hopefully this isn't a common thing, but I've never seen a charity stream where someone's still taking and the subs are still counting for themselves and all that kind of stuff. So they are giving money still. So obviously people might not always do charity for like an altruistic purpose. Maybe they're doing it for like the kudos or anything like that. But when I think about like problems in society, it's like, if anything, don't we want to give those kudos for those types of things? I feel like creating that reward is a good thing. and is an overall good thing for society. So I don't even see like a problem in that. To me, it's like the problems I would see are like when we give people kudos for things that are not helpful for society, or are harmful.
I think we could
Actually,
all agree. Oh, you go.
Go ahead, Brett. Sir. Thank you. I'll try to be quick. I would actually push back against sort of like giving kudos, just because I think it potentially in the long term is more detrimental in that, it's sort of like, we give awards or plaques to people who are large donors. And to me, that's sort of like not like it's like elevating like this is exceptional behavior. But this should be normalized, as in like giving to charity. If that's the baseline thing, like why does it require like why do we elevate this individual? Since like they stand out in a crowd of people that don't generally give. And so like it's sort of like participation trophies. Like if everyone's giving, it's no longer exceptional behavior. But if you like start elevating giving kudos, I think it creates the culture of like, okay, well, this is exceptional behavior, and it's only exceptional individuals that will give, as opposed to like normalizing it.
You haven't gone far enough. So talking about giving plaques to big donors, sometimes those big donors give plaques and awards to themselves, right? Like They'll give themselves a Man of the Year award. They'll create a committee, right? And what do you know? That committee says that they're the best for whatever philanthropy that they might have done. So they'll literally just do that for self-aggrandizement. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And they will these so it's not just companies that do it, right? As our friend Spartacus was saying, right? Like
that's common practice.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I'm saying that like it's not just them; it's individuals. Like in terms of reducing their tax burdens. This is how the rich get out of paying. One of the ways they use to get out paying their fair share. And the big issue, which I'm sure many of you already know, the big issue of charity is that like the people who can make the biggest difference would be the rich, right? Obviously, where they put that money, but they decide where that money goes, right? It's their priorities that gets the funding. So if they decide like the fucking ballet desperately needs another fucking wing or some shit, right? Then that's what's going to happen. Rather than other places that we can democratically decide that money can go to. So yeah, again, not for it.
I mean, if you're a political streamer, and your entire thing is like you care a lot about like some ideology or some like movement or something, there's not a lot you can do in terms of just like the active streaming that actually benefits that thing. I mean, like I haven't seen like sort of outcome of streaming going into actual organizing or like on the ground stuff. But so it seems like the only material thing you can do is like give money or find people to raise money in terms of
I would like to point
charity.
out just in this moment, despite being, on the other side, Lumiru has done a lot of stuff out there. Your Environment Seattle has done a lot of political activism out there. Oh my gosh, there's been quite a few streamers that have live streamed from their phones, like at events, trying to get people to events. Yeah, Dylan, right?
Oh,
So I
way to destroy my point, Fabian. All right, fine.
Yeah, I'm just moderating with truth. All right.
He's making it better than you. And yeah, so I think like I don't think it's mutually exclusive, as in like it's it's either political activism or charity. I don't see why it can't be both. Like I think I tend to like there's a middle ground of like part of me agrees with Prime of like there should be it's the government that's largely responsible and they have more power to hopefully do more good in the long term. But until like you actually have that structural systemic change, like the thing that's within your control is like at best in this environment, like raise money and maybe do political activism. I don't know if you have to like focus solely on political activism to be effective. I think it's more like just focus on the things you can control given what's available to you and the tools available to you.
But like I think there's something to be said for like as a streamer, like are you like in the act of being like a political streamer, are you fighting, are you channeling energy towards a cause, or are you like making money off of a cause? I think that does, if you're just never like giving any charity, I think to a certain degree.
Well, I'm all for streamers being transparent in the amount of money that they of their income essentially. And That's always up to the streamers, and probably not going to legislate that, or it's probably not going to be part of Twitch either. But like, yeah, I think there should be more transparency in the space, so that people are aware of like, you know, who they're giving to, maybe a better idea of what their financial situation is, and then hopefully support the people that they want to support, that maybe align more aligned with their values.
Well, when you do a charity stream, you're not just raising money, you're also advertising and bringing, you know, more eyes to an issue, whatever issue that you're raising for, right?
Like that new ballet wing.
Yeah, I mean, like for example, when Vosh did his Palestine fundraiser, right, it brought a lot more eyes and ears to like what was going on for Palestinians, and you could do that for like tons of other issues. I did like this very small charity stream where I tried to raise money for like the employees of Artesian Builds, which were like a streamer. They went bankrupt, and the employees just got treated like shit, and so you know, like I wish I could have raised more. But I think also just giving more of a voice to like whatever their issue is, because it's really hard to get even 2 viewers on Twitch for the majority of people. So if you can manage to get more than that, you've got a special platform. So just giving voice to that, I think, is also really helpful. You also like, for people who are not super politically minded or super ideological, like there are other real life stuff you can do that's charity. The choices shouldn't just be like doing like online like raising money versus just doing political activism in real life. Like a lot of people, political activism, like for me, that's just not my thing at all. Like I used to do it, and it's just not, it's not something that I feel comfortable with. But there's other things you can do. I mean, you can volunteer in soup kitchens and all of that kind of stuff. You can literally go to Kenya and build schools. Like there's some really, really cool stuff that you can do, or just support your community and stuff. So it's not like, you know, one or the other.
One thing I'd like to see is like more incentivization from our own, or not even just from the government, but just in general, from like companies, from local government to encourage and incentivize mutual aid, right? So, because there's a lot of benefit from that, and it's hard for a lot of people to kind of just initially get into doing mutual aid, because it seems like it's a bit of a daunting task and they don't know where to start. And you know, some kind of system set up where with either government and or companies providing both the information and who to contact and where to go and how to get started, and providing like an incentive, like Amazon giving people, you know, discounts, or even Amazon dollars, you know, or whatever, or something like that, to go and get involved in a local mutual aid project in the area, right? And a lot of these companies have a lot of footprints in areas, and they can actually focus on the areas where they have a major footprint. So like, you know, like Google here in Northern California could really focus on encouraging a lot of mutual aid in, you know, this area. And this is something I know that my company that I work for has definitely done some of, but only for our employees. But the more that branches outside of the company to encourage people who are out, you know, just non-employees to do this kind of stuff, the more we're going to spread mutual aid, right? Especially if there's some kind of an incentivization, some kind of kickback.
So first of all, I'm glad you talked about Amazon dollars. They'll be printing their own money soon. So get on board. But
for their purchases, right?
Yeah,
through Amazon
purchases.
They could do that. They can credit your account for certain things.
Yeah. But I think that relying on private companies for this, I think it's even more of a pipe dream than like getting government to actually like invest in places that we need them to invest in, or cracking down the rich to help fund these things, right? Which we should do. We should absolutely.
I wouldn't say relying on though,
but
right?
But I it's like look, I don't mind the idea, right? But once again, government's always better, right? So like I've talked about having a like when you're 18, having an option for people to go to some like AmeriCorps type thing where you are doing work within communities, right? And communities across America. Hopefully we can transplant people from one community in America to like across the country, right? So get people interacting with others they might not have the chance to. But I think that'd be a great way to like use the manpower of like the young, right? You're 18, you spend 2 years doing that, and you get some sort of incentive at the end, get some work experience that you can use in the future as well. Like I think that'd be a better way of channeling our abilities. Again, but by getting government to do the large scale effort and make it massive. I'm not sure if we make it so much mandatory, though mandatory would be pretty cool. But at least like make the program so big and so attractive that yeah, we could use the power of our youth to actually get things done.
Well, to Zanya's point, real quick, to Zanya's point, I think she's right. That I think there are things that the charities can do that like the government like isn't necessarily capable of doing. I really got into charity in like 2013 with this group called Invisible Children, who were helping like this. There was this warlord in Africa who like was just causing devastation.
That was kind of a scam though.
And I don't know the ending of that.
That was a kind of a scam.
But it was very support.
It was really a scam. Was, I remember that it was a scam.
I'm talking moderator.
Invisible children.
Moderator.
You can have a little bit of spice.
Yeah,
you can have a little bit of spice.
Okay, I'm saying that this charity was helping these people who were ravaged by some warlord.
It was a scam,
and they were, and the charity helped it. And
to be fair,
solved.
Hold on.
Wait,
by the end of it. Okay.
Honestly,
to be fair,
charities
first.
Well, yeah, like
you wanted to step in bad.
That was a scam. Like Coney, the Coney was it 2020? Like there was a name for that, right?
2012, or something like that.
Yeah, it was a name for that. But that like, and it's a shame because I was a part of that. I know what you're talking about. I did the whole thing where we it was like a nationwide protest, and you would go out and one of the things we slept out like in a parking lot, right? Like just like sleep somewhere uncomfortable, just like to mirror the experiences of these kids out there with no housing and being moved, being refugees because of like the war-torn country. And then there was like a protest, like it was somewhere in my local area, but like where we all like gathered and we like slept in like cardboard boxes. It was pretty cool because there was some hot college girls. I was in a cardboard box. That was nice. But I remember that, so I was part of that too. But it was a scam in the end, right? Like
aristocracy and then Sprouticus, real quick.
Okay, yeah. So it wasn't like I don't want to say it was like a complete scam. Like it wasn't like completely fake, but it wasn't what they pushed, and like the and almost none of the money ended up going to anything to get rid of Coney. Coney's still like in power, and it was like they basically had to change, and he's just like his amount of power is just like dwindled slowly over time. It has nothing to do with the raising of that money. It had to do with like the changing reality dynamics of what was going on, because a lot of times like these warlords, like I think like especially like Invisible Children was like a Christian organization, and the guy who ran it actually like went insane running around naked and stuff, and there's like, and I think one of the problems with some Christian organizations, not all, is like they like to like find like one person, like someone like Coney, and like be like, well, he's evil, and there's this evil guy and we need to get rid of him because he's turning all these kids into child soldiers and stuff. And they're not realizing there's a reason why these kids are being turned into child soldiers. Like there's a reason why he has plenty of like there's a reason why a lot of children want to sign up for that. There's like these systemic and very complex problems that in that region. So it's like just pouring money on stuff, it often doesn't help, especially in a situation like that where you'd have to like how is pouring money on this going to get rid of a warlord, and so none of the money ended up ever even going and helping and stuff.
All right, so Sprouticus.
So I mean, to be fair, we could bring this closer to home and closer to this time period. I might get some kickback for this. But BLM, after raising $90 million, ended up with $42 million still in assets. And so I think it's extremely important to, like, when you look into a charity, to look into its reputation, look into where its money is going, the best you can before you give to that charity, because there are charities back then and now that take your money and end up with a lot of money in assets, and your money isn't actually going where you thought your money was going to go to. So I think it's extremely important to research the charity that you're thinking about giving to before you just give to a charity on a whim.
And so real quick, because this is a charity stream, right? The moderation style might be slightly different. And what I would like to add is that if you stay around, folks, we're going to do a charity tier list of the top 30 charities in America and show you how to use Charity Navigator, Cause IQ, how to look into leaders and LinkedIn and things like that, so that you can do a really good job of researching the charities that you may or may not want to put your money or time into. Zonia, with her hand patiently raised, go right ahead.
Yeah, so I kind of liked what Prime had to say, and like talking about sort of some kind of system where, you know, at a young age, when you're, you know, end of high school or something like that, you get involved. I had a friend who in his last couple semesters of high school, he did Peace Corps, and he got credit for it, and they went and they built homes and stuff for people here in the US and who were like lost their homes from floods and stuff like that, and did a lot of really good for you know, people in need here in the US. And they also had an international program as well, but he did the domestic program. So got high school credit for it, learned some skills, did some good, helped give people homes who had lost them from, you know, weather events. And I think that kind of thing is a good thing. That'd be great. But that being said, I have to go pop over to the Roger Stone AMA and ask Roger Stone a question.
Yes, you do. Yes, him do. Get him good. And so I guess with that, right, because we don't want it to take all night. This isn't a regular thing. I'm going to go ahead and do outro statements. Do you want to give an outro statement before you pop out, or you need to go now?
Okay, I'll do a real quick one. Okay. Reliance on charity is a problem, and of course it's an easy way to take advantage of people because you can pull on emotional strings. People won't do the research. They'll just be like, oh my gosh, I need to help these kids, you know, or something, and then next thing you know, they're putting money into something that's really not above board. It also is an easy excuse for us not actually correcting the underlying problems that are causing the need for that charity in the first place. It becomes just too much of a crutch. So I think we need to definitely move in a direction of incentivizing mutual aid and pressuring our government to utilize our tax dollars to invest in its own people and to lift the population up. If we're going to get taxed a shit ton of money, most of that money should be going toward investing in the country's people. So that, I think, is where I stand with this. Anyways, I'm going to drop off. I'll be back a little bit later once I get done with the AMA stuff. So I'll see
all
you
of you are welcome to come back later and hop on or do whatever. It's big fun. Anybody in Twitch politics, but I'm going to go in reverse order this time. So PrimeCayes, give your outro.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I hadn't remembered, because I'm looking into it now. I'm refreshing my memory into the Coney 2012. That's what it was. Coney 2012 situation. Where was that movie that was created by Invisible Children? I remember watching that and feeling super galvanized by this. Like, I wanted to give, I wanted to like demonstrate, I wanted to do all of that stuff, and they accomplished nothing. Accomplished nothing. And I'm pretty sure, like, I gotta like refresh my memory, but I'm pretty sure they still a good bit of that money. And it's true, right? Like, any organization is capable of doing that, including government, right? Including government. Like, we've seen fraud and happen in governments as well. But it's accountable to the public in a way that these private organizations aren't. A lot of these times where charities like do get up to nonsense, is like it goes on the radar because they're usually too small. This one was just like national. It blew up so big, right? So there was a lot of media attention. So they saw what happened afterwards and its complete failure. But when a government fails, there's a possibility for government accountability. So I'm always gonna go in that direction. Thank you.
Awesome. And Sprouticus, outro statement.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's always important to look into the charity you're going to give to. I worked with charities when I was in Wisconsin. One of the biggest charities I worked with when I was in Wisconsin helping the Afghan refugees was Catholic Charities. And like it's always important to look into like the charity that you're giving to, look into what they're doing, look into what they're spending their money on, and try to give to a charity that you where you know that your money is going to be spent wisely. I think even I think Wounded Warriors even had a big fit about the money not going where it's supposed to. And so
is a trash charity.
Yeah, it was a very prominent charity that got a lot of money, and the money just wasn't going where it was supposed to. And so you may end up falling in one of those traps, but I think it's always better to be educated and take your best educated guess at where you should spend it if you're going to donate to a charity.
All right, aristocracy.
I agree with a lot of people on the panel, honestly. Like I don't think most people said anything incorrect. Especially like I understand like why Prime as an American is very frustrated. Like when you guys have such your government really does so little in comparison with other governments, that I understand like the frustration on why like charity shouldn't be fulfilling like these these mainstream needs that and I don't think that should be the purpose of charity. To me, like the purpose of charity is for unique situations, right? For rare like disastrous situations, etc. Not like to meet like everyday needs and all that kind of stuff. But I still think that charity has like a very good use, and charity used to have a lot of problems in the basically in the entire 20th century. Charity was run by mostly Christian organizations that would almost always force, particularly in Africa and Asia, they would almost always force people to convert to Christianity in order to get charity. Like for example, World something, I forget the name. One of the most famous organizations used to do this, and there's been like a lot of pressure to, like where you had to like sign up to, give $1 a day and you would like adopt an African child. In order for that child to get any money, their entire family would have to convert to Christianity and stuff. It was used basically by missionaries. So, but anyways, there's tons of things like that, that have like changed, and there's been a lot of pressure. In the early 2000s, there was like this huge movement about like charitable accountability and being critical of these charities and stuff. And so like a lot of them have changed, and now with the internet, there's so many ways to like cross-check charities and stuff. So I feel like that's one of those things that we've almost done well, that like charities have improved significantly, and there's more and more criticism going in, and there's higher standards. So I just think we should keep that up and see where charity goes in like the next 30 years.
All right, Corey.
Yeah, I'm sort of like caught in the middle in that like I'm very much on the same page as you, Prime, in terms of like I agree. Government is overall better and effective in enacting change, and like I'm all for taxing the wealthy and the rich, and I'm all for redistributing income and resources through taxation. But I think maybe a little bit to like Scott's point sometimes, like there's also the reality that like when it's forced through taxation, like the psychological benefits of pro-social spending like tend to go down, and like sometimes like resentment builds. And so like government is overall probably like better in its effectiveness, but when you're kind of like forcing people to perform charity, and it's basically essentially no longer charity, people don't really like that, or like there's sort of negative feelings associated with that. And so I can't really blame people if they don't like taxation, because it seems like we want to be altruistic, generally speaking, and it should be voluntary. But there's the reality that like it's clearly not always voluntary, and it's not always enough. So it's like, it's really tough. But at the end of the day, I think there's a place for charity, as much as I sort of lean towards hopefully not needing charity. But it's, as mentioned multiple times, do your research. I provided a link in Scott's channel, givewell.org. That's, I think, a very good website that ranks charities. And you can really like make a choice of, donating to a charity that is very effective. And that's pretty much it.
All right. And certainly not least, but definitely last, Binks.
Joseph R. Coney has no Twitter, has no Facebook, doesn't even have a MySpace. We defeated Coney. I see no evidence to the contrary that we did not defeat Coney. We Thanos snapped Coney. He's gone.
Were you trolling
Thanks
the whole time?
to my
Did we just
donation.
get trolled?
You're
Thanks
just figuring
to
that out now.
Our 2012 donation.
This is Bink's
Also-
closing statement, and you will respect
Thank you.
his supreme opinion. Okay.
Also, speaking of history, someone brought it up. Back in the early 1900s, before there was healthcare and science, there was a thing called fraternal organizations where people would give charity to each other. They would join these organizations, like, I don't know, like the Masons or something, and they would pay for their health. They would pay for their hospitals. No government intervention involved. And you know what? All these Twitch streamers who like to say that I'm part of their community, how about you give me some fucking insurance, okay? How about I be part? That really make me part of your community, okay? Give me something. Give me something, okay? I feel like that would be a step up. It would make me more involved, okay? Because otherwise, I don't know what the community is. It's like a fan base. What am I doing? Just go to your Discord server where it's your name and every channel has like some like pun about you. I don't know what it is.
I'll give you a crisp high five.
All right. So with that being said, it is a charity stream, which means, and it is a sponsored one. That being said, it was sponsored. I do have an NDA, so I can't tell you how much, but we did waive any of the funds so that we could make sure that we did this for charity and not for us. But as part of that deal, we're going to play a little bit of a video here to help people better understand games for love. And then we'll move on to the second topic. If anybody needs to go, I understand. But we're going to watch this quick. Yeah, it's a 1 minute and 20-second video. We're going to watch this real quick. I'll share it with you guys just for the giggles. And then we will move on to the second topic. So just 1 second, and let me get this roll put together, and we will go.
We went to a children's hospital to take a look at the distraction therapy and gaming needs that they had. And we had an event where kids could come down, play games, and be kids, and just escape for a little bit. And we had Super Smash Brothers on this really big screen, and this little boy, Drew, comes in, and he started playing Smash with us, played for hours. And he actually stayed until it was time to go, and the Child Life team came in and said, "Hey, Drew, it's time to go, buddy." And he said, "Oh, man, all right." And so we gave him a gift bag, and as he was going out, he stopped for a second and paused, and then he turned around, and then what he said changed our lives. He said, "You know, this is just what I needed." And everybody just kind of looked around at each other and just melted and just said, "Oh, well, hey man, well, have a good rest of your day." And the Child Life team told us later that that was the first time in over a week that they had seen him smile. And that was the moment that we knew that this is why we do what we do. It matters.
Can we make a move? Overthinking, you and I. What do we have to lose?
I'm still muted. Sorry. So that's just one of the videos from this stream. If you guys are ready to move on to the second topic, I'm ready to go ahead and read the second topic. Does anybody need to get out of here? Or are we good to go for
Yeah, I'm gonna
a
have
little
to
bit longer?
hop off. But thanks for having me, Fabian.
It was
Of
really
course,
nice
Eris.
talking to you, Eris. I
care.
haven't talked to you in
Pleasure.
a long time.
Yeah,
I
it
hope
was
you're
so
doing
nice
well.
seeing you too, Prime. Yeah, see you guys.
I haven't
And
seen
everyone
you.
else.
Yeah, we haven't seen you in forever, Eris. Where have you been?
God damn it. Okay, bye.
All right, so Binks is incognito, but that's his fault, not mine. So if he doesn't hear the question properly and he has to just kind of jive off of everybody else, that just, that's what happens sometimes. But
I definitely know he read the topics.
right, if you hit exclamation mark charity, you can also type donate or charity or exclamation mark donate. You'll see the link to give to Games for Love. This is a pretty decent charity by my estimation. They give money to host gaming events. They have tech experts come to kids. They give money for to teach children how to code. They give grants for people going into STEM that have been in had medical hardships in part of their life. Sorry, I feel like this hot sauce is still messed me up. As well as, they sponsor children and families that are hit by medical hardships in third world countries that simply don't have the money to pay for treatments that they need to save their life or for long-term care. All of this is things that they do that your money is going towards. And don't forget, later on tonight, if you stick around, we will be doing a raffle tickets. And during that 10-minute period, you can donate money. The more money you donate, the more raffle tickets you get. I don't remember all of the countries that they can't ship the prize to, but it's like I don't know, it's mostly countries that you might guess. If you're in the UK and you're in Europe, and you're in the US and you're in Canada, you're good to go. And that prize, we will tell you what that prize is then, but we can tell you that I won it, and it's worth $120 retail. And so if you want to stick around for that, go ahead. But we're going to move on to the next topic. The second topic. Can charity go too far in shaming people publicly? We've all been to the grocery store and been asked if we would like to donate money to a charity that we've never heard of. Many of these companies have questionable finances and marketing budgets. This very stream is sponsored by Gamers for Love. Do charities go too far when Americans are struggling to pay bills or afford food and gas and groceries by publicly shaming people who decline to pay, or giving attention and clout to people who pay large sums? And I want to start this in the same, the kind of the opposite order that we did last time. Opening statement coming from PrimeCayes all the way to Binks, and then of course PrimeCayes will get the last word later. So Prime, if you want to open up for us.
You can only be shamed if you have shame, right? Like if you're not completely shameless. So when it comes to me and someone comes to me some random ass charity, I don't necessarily donate. Like if there's a charity that I want to send my money to, then I will. I mean, it's the weakness of charity. Again, is that like I'll decide rather than us deciding as a society where that money should be going to. But yeah, I'm not like I guess I don't look at it as a thing of shame, right? Look, each individual person can only have so many dollars, and they can only send them so many places. They have their own priorities, right? This is a person asking for money just like any other organization trying to get your money, right? And it could be for a very good cause, sure enough, but like I don't see why I need to be shamed for not partaking. I don't see why that would happen. Oh, and one other thing, sometimes these things are used as scams. I didn't say this before, like a different type of scam. When I was in Paris, there's this thing, right, where when you come out of a train station, there are a bunch of people like gathering money for charities. Like you're just walking down the street, and like they have these clipboards and they have like pamphlets showing you about the charities they're raising money for. Except they're not raising money for charities, right? They prey on tourists as you're coming out, right? They know that's where you'll all be. You're gonna come out of the train station, especially if you're heading to a hostel like I was. And they're like, "Hey, look at this is a thing we're raising money for." They're like, "Oh, okay, I'll give some." I did that. Me and my girlfriend did that, and then quickly found out that yeah, it's just a massive scam. So that's the thing that happens.
All right, fair enough. Sprouticus, you muted, buddy.
Muted.
It doesn't help when you're muted. So I think that I agree with Prime there, is that you only have shame if you think that you could have given money and decided not to. Typically I choose not to give money. Like if I'm walking by a charity and I have no idea what the charity is, I typically choose not to give money because I just have no idea what this charity is. But I will tell you, like, who does shame you if you like it's the Girl Scouts, all right? If you buy the cookies, you're fat. If you pass by, you feel terrible. I don't know. You just don't know what to do. But no, I think you only feel shame if you think that you should have donated and just decided not to. Although I do agree with charities calling people out for pledging $7 million and not fulfilling that pledge. So I think that deserves to be called out.
Holy shit. A wild Stardust has appeared. Stardust, how did you get into my... What's going on? How did you hack in here?
You know what? Shame on you, Scott.
Oh, shit. What did I do?
You tell me, Scott. That's what I'm here for.
I'm here for love, for games
shame
for love.
on you, Scott.
Did I do something? Is it because I brought on Sprouticus to talk shit on Amber Heard?
You
Is
tell
that
me
what
what
it
you
did?
did.
What
No,
did
you know it's
Is it
much
the
more
hot sauce?
insidious than that.
Oh shit. Oh, wait. Are you talking about the DMs? I thought that was between you and me and Prime. I thought we were keeping that private.
Wasn't even DM. It's kind of insulting, but whatever.
Stardust. It was just a happy. Oh shit. She's serious, boys. Stardust. It was just a happy birthday DM, with some pictures attached. It was positive, right? Was it? Was it not? I'm sorry. I thought we had an understanding.
I will be suing you for
You're
the
gonna be
trauma
suing
you
me?
have inflicted upon my brain.
Just make sure you
Well-
paid your pledges before you go to do a
Well,
lawsuit.
Well, will you commit now if you do sue me? Will you commit to at least a portion if you win in court? Because thinking about what I sent you in those DMs, I'll probably lose. Will you at least pledge that
Prime, I wouldn't be laughing if I were you.
will you at least pledge that some of that will go to Games for Love, so that they can go to a good cause from all of this trauma that
Yes.
may or may not have occurred. You'll pledge some of the funds from
Yes.
from your victory. When I say pledge, I mean pay, not pledge, right?
Please stream the trial.
I use them interchangeably.
How are you doing?
I don't know why
Stardust?
Prime is
Happy
laughing because
birthday.
he is in the same situation as you, Scott.
Are
Maybe
feet-
even worse.
Are feet pics as bad as what he sent you? Because that's a lot of feet pics.
Oh, you were in that DM, Prime.
Okay. Thank you.
Just wait for Discord to release all of Prime's DMs.
Oh my god. No more, please.
Just gonna wait
Thank
for the
you.
manifesto.
Well, welcome, Stardust. Welcome, Stardust.
Thank you for
I hear
having me.
it's close to or near your birthday.
It is, yeah.
I heard
My
that
birthday.
you were turning 45, correct?
Thought so.
Correct. And I
Yep.
am in my birthday suit for my
Yes.
birthday stream.
You know what? You look good for 45. I'll
Thank
say
you.
that for
I
sure.
appreciate that.
For sure. For younger, but you look amazing for 45. I'll say, did you want in on this topic, Stardust, or did you just want to come by and yell at me and threaten to sue me in the hopes that Games for Love could get more money?
Let me see here. Okay.
It's in
well,
general.
look.
The topic. I'll read it again for you if you want me to.
Sure.
All right. So if we go here,
You
I'll
know
read
what?
the topic.
I'm really
What?
just here.
What?
Sorry, continue. What were you saying? What were you?
Did you want me to read the topic to you?
Look, I think the only shame that is too far is too far. Is it too far enough? And it's not. It's not too far enough. That sentence was messed up. I understand, but
Sometime it'd
I
be
think
like
you
that.
understand. You understand what I'm saying. That the shaming is not too far enough. Okay, and if anybody deserves more shame, it's
Stardust. Wait,
Mm.
what?
You're right. I don't give enough of my money to Games for Love.
We need to.
You gave enough hot
Scott,
sauce.
I did give enough
There's
hot
nothing.
sauce, and I did vomit hot sauce up.
You paid
and
tribute.
just one thing I have to say, it's Morbin time, okay?
Is it Morbin time?
Morbius 2024.
All right. Oh, all right. Well, happy birthday to Stardust. I don't know how she hacked into our Discord. We're going to have to get that locked down a little bit. But that being said, Jesus, this whole thing's a shit show, right? I'm just trying to get money for kids in hospitals, but I guess we'll continue with the panel. And Corey Campbell, did you have something to say? After all of that craziness, I depend upon you
Chaos.
with stats and facts, right? To give it to us straight about shaming that corporations do and the clout that other people get for large donations. And does it go too far sometimes?
I think definitely. Well, I think this speaks to the culture of not culture, but the reality that there's so many charities, and so now they're all competing against each other for everyone's scarce resources. And so as a result of that competition, I totally think that charities can go too far, and very often do, but understandably so, given the reality. I can just go through my experience when I encounter I don't know if this is as much of a thing or I don't know how unique this is to where I am. But like every once in a while, like when I go to the grocery store on like the checkout, they ask me if I want to like contribute X amount to a charity. And every time that I'm encountered by that situation, unless like I actually know the charity, I pretty much say no, because pretty much has been echoed by other people. Like you don't really know what you're giving to. So unless I'm confident in like what I'm supporting, I just err on the side of like no. But I understand like why they use that method as sort of like whatever predatory charity. And so in the context of like Americans struggling to pay bills and like do they go too far? I would hope, I don't actually know for sure, but I would hope people are somewhat responsible with their own finances and aren't like, giving money to charity while sacrificing, food on the table. I have no idea if that's a common occurrence or not. I'd like to think people, put their own basic needs above, giving to charity. And in terms of also clout and giving attention, I think that bleeds into what we covered previously. And like, I actually would want to move away from like celebrating large donations to charity. As the same way as like, I also wouldn't want to shame people either. I want to just like ideally have it be normalized of like people just give to charity and it's not a big deal. Like that's just like the culture that we've created. And I think that's pretty much what I have to say.
Fair enough. And to finish us up, Binks, how do you feel about this?
Well, as the great philosopher and hot dog salesman Slavoj Žižek points out, American culture has a fetishism of this sorts of capitalist charity. You can go to a Starbucks, for instance, and they'll say that they're giving some money for some charity or something. Meanwhile, they're exploiting their workers. So it is not in the act of charity itself that people find meaning. It is in the act of being seen as a giver in which they find some kind of meaning. So when I'm at a grocery store and someone asks me to give money to a charity, I spit in their face and I say, "This is ideology." Thank you.
Oh, did not think we would get a guest appearance from Slavoj Žižek. He rubs his nose more than I do when taking spoonfuls of 1.5 to 2.2 million Scoville hot sauce. Now, Sprouticus, unfortunately, it seemed like there was a little bit of tension between you and Stardust there, and you didn't get to properly call her out. Do you think if she sues me and wins, that I will indeed that she will indeed give that money to charity, or do you think she'll just pledge it?
Well, she'll pledge it and say she uses it interchangeably.
Well, with that being said, let's open it up back towards this topic now, instead of the chaos that is brought in by the master of chaos cast herself, about this idea of like clout and pressure and public pressure to give charity and the capitalist charity, as Slavoj Žižek would say. How do you guys feel about that? Is there any disagreement here?
Well, so I would actually so I think Sprouticus, during the last topic, you mentioned like, basically, if you give to charity, that's a private thing. It shouldn't be publicized. I tend to agree with that sentiment of like, it shouldn't be for clout. I'm not for giving plaques or like special recognition, because there shouldn't be anything special about it. That should be like ideally the norm, in the absence of government intervention, where it's like, I have really conflicted feelings of like, I align with you, Prime, but I think there's a reality of
I think it's good for publicization for charities to be out in public and to kind of like show themselves off, even if they are asking for money at the table or wherever they're at. Because there's sometimes that it will catch my eye and I'll be like, I've never heard this charity before, and I'll take a flyer and be like, this is actually a really good charity after looking into it, and I'll actually give it money. I'm not going to give it money right at the table because I haven't looked into it. But I'll take a flyer and I'll definitely look into it later. So I think it can provide a lot of benefits to charity. But I think you only feel shame if you feel like you should have donated.
Yeah. Although, go ahead, Scott.
Well, no, I was just going to prod it. If you have something to say, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, without getting into the weeds and getting super serious, I would reframe it as guilt as opposed to shame. Of like, I think there's something to be said for people feeling guilty. But not
I guess it is. Yeah, it's guilt. Yep.
I have a question for Prime and for Corey. So, in your ideal society, is there just no charity? Is it all just not a part of life?
Probably, yeah.
So I was thinking about this before you asked me this question. I was trying to consider this, and especially when I was was watching that video from Gamers for Life, and so
Games for love.
Games for Love. Sorry, I
Yeah,
apologize.
no life here.
Yeah.
I apologize. But yeah, I was considering like, would my ideal world put them out of business? Right. Well, I think part of it's partly so. But like having events, right, where you give kids in hospitals, right, the ability to, you know, play video games, hang out with each other. You know, they're each individually having issues, but give an excuse to hang out and, you know, just, you know, relax and forget their problems for a little bit, right? Like, will government necessarily replace that? Probably not, right? So I guess there would be room for things like that. I guess when I think of charity, I always think of the bigger things, right? Like feeding America, right? Which is, you know, trying to deal with the hunger here in the States. Like those are the things that I focus on, but there are a lot of niche things that I think would be good for you know, charities, private donors to do.
So, Prime, do you not think that, like, if the government forces you to pay tax, if the government, like, forces charity, right, that less charity would be given because you're forced to do charity, so therefore you're not gonna, like, you're not gonna feel inhibited to, like, pay any more than what you're already being coerced to pay?
Scott, are you okay?
Yeah, we're good. I just rubbed a little bit of that.
I was gonna say, did you rub your eyes with the hot
Yeah,
sauce?
I did, like
Oh.
an idiot. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh,
We're
man.
going forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So my question is this, to kind of move us forward a little bit. Does anyone here believe that if there wasn't some clout, if there wasn't some recognition on TV or in spaces or plaques and things like that, that some people would not choose to not donate because they don't get those social brownie points? However distasteful we may feel about someone doing it solely so that others can look at them as a better person, do you believe that if we got rid of that completely, that there wouldn't be some people that simply would just keep some of their money to do with as they please, or maybe even to just keep it somewhere in a bank and not spend it at all, not do anything with it, not invest it,
I mean,
because they don't get that recognition?
I think there definitely would be people who would do that. Like you see YouTube streamers like go out in the street and just hand money to random people, and which I find that pretty, and I find that in bad taste to film yourself like giving people who are in need and people who are struggling money. Because not
Mr.
only
Beast disagrees with you.
not only does it in my eyes make you seem bad, because it makes me think that you're just doing it for clout at that point. But you completely embarrass whoever you're trying to give money to that's in need. That's extremely embarrassing to be put onto a YouTube channel that gets millions of views and everyone to watch them give you money because you obviously can't do it yourself. I mean, that's completely embarrassing. That's why I'm 100% against like the YouTubers that do that, like on YouTube.
You're talking and muted. There you go, Corey.
Yeah, and yeah, so I agree with you. And actually, like on that topic, like, yeah, I'm not a huge, like, I have very mixed feelings about Mr. Beast and sort of things in that vein. Of like, that's where it's like, I don't know that we should be celebrating these things, because I think not that it incentivizes, but I think it creates the culture of like, again, like this is an exceptional thing, as in this goes against the grain, as opposed to like this is all the grain that we should all be hopefully doing. And sort of maybe like to your point, Prime, of like, yeah, I think ideally there's probably hopefully a greater role for the government, and that like if there's like, you know, this large amount of charities and there's this large need for charities, that's probably a symptom of like a larger structural problem. Same thing with like food banks. There's no reason why the United States of America should have food banks. That should just be, people should be able to like purchase food and have food readily available. They shouldn't have to rely on donations of food.
I would go even farther that and that we should food should be decommoditized, but that's my
Sure.
me thing, right? And
No,
this is ANCAP
I can agree to
territory,
that.
so I'm gonna watch my mouth, all right? So I wanted
No,
to
dude, say whatever the fuck you feel.
yeah,
This is,
I'm just
do
kidding.
you.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. But I wanted to try to answer our friend Sproticus's question. So could you repeat it exactly what you said before?
So, do you not think that when people, if people are going to be like coerced through taxation, to essentially give to charity, that they're going to end up paying less in charity, because they're coerced to give $20, so therefore they're not going to feel like they need to give that extra 10 when they might have given 30 to start off with.
Okay, first, I think there's multiple things here that don't align with our vision. One, when I'm talking about upping taxes, is mostly on the people at the very top, where like the majority of the wealth is, right? Like not on individuals, but on the top 1%. I'd go to town on them. So there's that. Then when it comes to, even if there is like raising taxes slightly on individuals, the point is that you get so much more back, right? So in my world, we would have decommoditized a lot of things, including healthcare. So you're saying, okay, well, if I'm being forced to be paid these elevated taxes, maybe I don't give. Well, we would want a world in which they wouldn't have to give in the first place for most of these causes. So there would just be a lot less charities to give to. And yeah, and I think that people who are inclined to give one way or the other will give. The vast majority of people don't give to charities, right? They just you don't, right? But the people who are going to give, who have that in their spirit, they're going to do it any which way. So I think it'll be fine.
I don't know. I guess one of my issues with that is I think like like the way that most I think the leftists kind of frame this is sort of something similar to like the Nordic model, right? Where they have like very, very high government charities and even stipends for like a lot of people, even like refugees who are taking care of themselves. And I think there is an atomization that like comes with that in terms of just direct taxes going to the individual person as opposed to like nonprofits or charities. Like I live in the South and like, yeah, it's super, there's a lot of shit that's fucked up here, but like there is a very large nonprofit network, very large like community togetherness about certain causes and how these things like come together, right? And and this is stupid, but I mentioned the Nordic model because there was like this tweet, like this viral thing going on Twitter where there are people in Sweden. There was like this a bunch of tweets saying that people would go to their friends' houses and like the parents wouldn't expect to cook dinner for the kids who was like coming visit, right? I'm not saying that's for every suite, but it was like just kind of a meme. But like that speaks to like my broader point that I worry about is this like because everyone's already so alienated from each other, everything's already so decentralized. So if it comes directly from the government without with no nonprofit, with no responsibility, this is just a luxury, for charity essentially. That could make things a lot worse.
I think that's like a pointless worry. So one, in my perfect socialist future, there is we're not banning charities, like I said, right? Like there are niche situations, right? Again, Gamers for Love is a good example of that, where like why would a government necessarily be like focusing on putting like video game systems in hospitals? I mean, I guess a hospital could do that if they were more flush with cash. They could do that themselves, but that will never be a focus of them, right? So we would want them to do that. And then for charities that give to foreign nations, right, and do projects there, we'd want that as well, sure. So we would still have all those things. This idea of us being atomized, we're already atomized for so many different reasons, like the lack of reducing the number of charities slightly isn't going to be a breaking point there. And when it comes to these charities, I feel like it would actually benefit them because instead of people putting money in things like Feeding America, if America is fed, well then if you are a charitable-minded person, then you can put your money in other places, like Gamers for Love. Give if you haven't done so yet. Right, like so I think
absolutely
overall,
give.
Yeah, like if there's more money going to these projects from the government, there's more money than going to these niche charities like this one.
Yeah, I guess I just swear that if the responsibility for charity or for your neighbor is gone, then like what responsibility do you really have anymore?
Why would that be gone? Why would that be gone?
If it was funded by government services, not by charities, by nonprofits.
So, but like, okay, what is the status quo now? What is the thing that is holding our communities together, and then how does that break in a world where there are simply more services available and better services, frankly?
So like I can only speak for my local area where there are a ton of nonprofits. Like there's like a homeless shelter, there's a food kitchen, there's a place for domestic for women who are abused to be sheltered. These are all nonprofits. All of this is funded privately through like charities and like I'm in Louisiana, so like there are festivals and tons of shit like that all year. And all that like apparently, like from what I understand, like that if this was all just provided by public services, all this would go away. All of these like sorts of
also
public initiatives would go away.
Hold on.
Also, I kind of okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead. And then I want to hear. Yeah. So rather than decommodifying housing, excuse me, right? Rather than decommodifying housing and assuring that all those homeless people have homes, you would rather have a homeless shelter with all the problems they cause, right? You'd rather have a homeless shelter so that the people who give their time and their money might feel a sense of community for it. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that most of these organizations are funded by the community, by people in the community. And if they are not required to do that anymore, then there's more than just the initiative itself that's being lost. There's like a kind of a societal glue that's being lost.
Yeah. So like maybe we could find other things for people to do rather than like having a homeless shelter so
Community
they can
centers.
feel like a sense of togetherness because like a few of them have donated and spent their
We're
time
all
there.
homeless together.
Well, I agree.
And we'll make more homeless people so we can have
well,
more
the thing, I mean, homeless shelters
so
themselves
that-
are like homeless shelters themselves are so like
we're starving, but we're together.
Like the federal government is so involved with homeless shelters anyway. Like the DHH is like there's so many regulations now that have been happening in the past like 5 years. That it's almost like kind of a bad example. But yeah, go ahead, Sprout.
So and this is more of a question, not necessarily. I don't want you to take this as a gotcha, Prime. It's more so a question. And I'm going to phrase it with an example. But anyways, so you said something along the lines of like the government would do it better in reference to charity. Yeah. I think, and this is my personal opinion, is I think that the VA could have been done much better by a charity given that amount of funding. Could have done like much fucking better than what they were doing in like early 2010s, early 2000s.
Are you kidding me? No. First of all, where would a charity get a level of funding from a government, like a government level of funding that went to the VA, right? So
I'm saying, I'm simply stating, given the same funding,
Wounded Warriors, best charity in the world. Sorry, go on.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay.
You're getting scammed a lot.
So I guess I want to go back to the topic a little bit and dig in here a little bit because, you know, one of the things that I mentioned in the topic that doesn't seem to be touched on except Binks's opening statement is this feeling that a lot of people have. And we talked about it a little bit like guilt and shame, but like, is it wrong for charities to attach themselves to your everyday purchases and demand that you say that you're not going to give to that charity and you do so to another human being, right? Like you go to the grocery store, you go somewhere and you spend $110 and then someone's like, do you want to round up? Do you want to give $5 to charity? And it's like, what fucking charity? Like I'm just at GNC trying to buy my fucking essential oils so my apartment doesn't smell like shit. I have no idea what this is, right? Like whatever it is that you're purchasing, like does that go too far, or do you think that's like that's an acceptable way to try and get people to donate to charity?
I thought that I did address this, but maybe not fully to your satisfaction. But like,
okay, I'm gonna release the DMs. You keep talking shit like that. All right, Stardust ain't got nothing.
No, but I was saying that you can only allow yourself to be shamed by those things if you let them. Again, like you don't know what these things are from. Like I think a better example is the like Ronald McDonald House. There's when you go to McDonald's, sometimes they'll ask you for that. Sometimes when I go to my grocery store, yeah, like they do the whole song and dance. I can't fucking talk today. That you talked about, and which like, hey, if you round it up a bit, or could you put $1 or two to this random charity? I'm like, nah, that's cool. I'll keep it pushing. There might be a worthy cause, but I really don't have enough information. I think it's weird to ambush people like that. It's a good way of raising that money, but I'm actually a little curious.
I don't know, because CVS has that. Like CVS is like, would you like to round up to the nearest dollar for this?
Yeah, I'm surprised y'all are so strong-willed because I fucking cave every fucking. I'm like, well, they're watching me. But fuck.
I see why you get scammed a lot.
Take the fucking dollar, whatever.
Ouch.
Exactly.
Take the 15.
I don't believe it. It's just in that social situation. What am I supposed like? Just saying no. Fuck you. Okay. I respect that. I respect everyone here.
To extend an olive branch. So to maybe use a somewhat loose analogy of like, so I have homeless people in my area. I don't think that's an uncommon thing. And like, yeah, so when I'm walking like downtown, like I come across homeless people that are asking for money, and like totally on my part, there's an urge to me, like I want to give to them. But the reality is like I physically I don't have the means to like lift every homeless person out of poverty as much as I would want to. Like sure, if I can give all my money to them and lift them out of poverty, like I would do that, but I would just be making myself homeless at that point. So like those feelings are there, but like as a matter of like self-preservation, I guess I'm being like I also don't want to be homeless, and so there's only so much I can give, and I can't give to every homeless person. And so it's like, yeah, I understand why these tactics of like just at the checkout line, round up to the nearest dollar, why they're employed. But I think that's that speaks to like how desperate charities are, I guess.
So I don't know if it's just me or if it's happening in other places as well. But recently in Indiana, there's been like people who kind of like homeless people who sit at the corner of the street, like or stoplights and stuff, but they wear yellow vests and carry around signs, and they have like this like, my nephew is in the hospital for this, and like any money you can give would be greatly appreciated. Here's our Cash App, here's this, and here's a jar if you want to give cash. And like I don't know, it seems it just I don't want them to be sus, but it seems kind of sus given like there's no way to like verify any of that information.
Right. I've encountered that too of like someone who is likely homeless or living in poverty. Like they'll also approach me and they're like, presumably it looks like provide me like a family picture, and like or like a picture of their child, and I'm like I hope they're telling the well. I don't actually know if I hope that they're telling the truth or like their family's living in poverty. But it's like I have no way to know if like I'm being scammed or not. Like I still want to give, but it's like I don't know how to really deal with the situation.
I think there's some clearinghouses for this, right? For charities. I'm not mistaken. There are clearinghouses for charities that investigate them. And I guess you gotta hope like who's watching the watchers. Like it's not impossible. I guess you have to like make sure whoever you're trusting to give them a grade is also on the up and up, because you could just maybe have a scam where you give money to get a good grade. So I don't know.
Absolutely, that's totally a thing.
Corey, what do you say when a homeless guy comes and asks you for money? Because I don't believe you don't give them any money. You look too nice.
No, Scott will tell you I'm an evil, totally horrible person since I'm a statist.
Well, I don't carry cash. I don't carry cash.
No,
I don't carry.
I say sorry. I prefer not to.
And so you just straight up. You don't even say I don't have any money on me. You just say I prefer not to.
Yeah.
He just politely declines.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
okay.
Give me all your money or I'm gonna kill you, sir. I prefer not to.
Or you just say like sorry, I don't have any cash on me, because I typically don't carry cash on me. But like on a lot of things, a lot of things I will do though is like if someone says like has a sign that says they're hungry, is I'll go to like if I have the time, I'll go to like a McDonald's or something like that and order a meal and bring it back to them. As like here's this as a way to help them in their hunger. But I don't know. There's a lot of like unverifiable stuff when you do that kind of thing. To the point to where I was at a Walmart one time, and we watched. I was sitting in the car. We were waiting for someone to come back out, and we watched like the homeless person we saw in the corner, like go from the street corner and then hop in the driver's seat of like a newer truck and then just drive the truck away. I'm like, wait, what? So I don't know. A lot of stuff that I've seen just makes me a lot more sus about like giving money to people on corners, even though there very well could be people that actually need it that are in the corners.
Yeah.
Well-
Then yeah, go ahead, Scott.
No, I think the conversation has reached its limit, and I understand why, right? Because deep down, I think everybody they want to give to charity, right? They know it's a good thing. They know it's a nice thing. Maybe they prefer systems be in place that some of these charities might not be necessary. Maybe they prefer that that the government could tackle certain things, or that the economy was in a better place, or maybe they have disagreements about what charity they want to donate to. But I think ultimately people like the idea of call it mutual aid, call it praxis, call it altruism, call it investing in your own community so that you can have a better life, or call it just giving money to feel better. And so, with that, I want to go to closing statements, but not closing statements on this topic, because I feel like, we would just be reiterating at that point. I want to go to, and if you want to have a bit of back and forth about that's fine. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask all of you now, like, what is your favorite charity? What is the charity that you like appreciate the most? And where can people go to discover this charity and donate either their time or their money, and kind of round robin if there's any disagreements about that, because hopefully Binks doesn't bring up invisible children again.
That was legit gonna be my answer. Fuck.
We can. All right. You know what? I'll give you time. I'll start with Prime at the bottom here, since invisible children was already taken. But yeah, let people know where they can go to that, where they can give their time at the very least, and like why you support that charity. Like, why is that a thing that's important to you? So PrimeCayes.
Yeah. So okay. People ask me to rank things all the time. Like I can't like rank things. I'm just not a ranker. I in terms of charities, I actually I do like Feeding America because there's a lot of hunger out there. I mean, it's unfortunately my socialist paradise has not been created. I haven't finished vanquishing Scott, right, and his cat followers yet. So like I haven't been able to create that. So for now, right? Like I wonder if you remember the lines during the height of the pandemic, where there were cars like going back miles, people trying to get to these Feeding America sites, and maybe some other charities as well, like for food, because they just couldn't feed themselves at that point. People are going there to try to feed their families. Love it. I love that a charity is making that happen. I think it's like feedingamerica.org. Hold on, I'll find it for you. But feedingamerica.org, yes, indeed. Check it out. Hunger is a very real thing in America. We are, we're the richest country on earth, and people don't realize like how bad hunger can be here. It can be quite severe, and it's just so sad. It's really sad. Yeah, please check out.
We'll be doing a charity tier list later, and looking into each of these charities. And because we're doing the top 30 largest charities in America, Feeding America is one of the biggest ones in the United States. So Sproticus, same question.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go with Homes for Our Troops. And what they do is they give homes to severely injured veterans, injured in the line of war. Beyond them getting a home and having a home that they can take shelter in, and then they can that no mortgage, they don't have to worry about a mortgage payment or anything like that. Beyond that, 18% before 18% of them before were obtained or pursuing a degree or trade certification. 72% of veterans after receiving the home were obtained or pursuing a degree or trade certification, and it goes to the spouse and caregiver as well at the 19% to 79%. And after getting the home, there was a 123% increase in employment rate for the veterans and a 273% increase in employment rate for the spouse and caregiver. So what they're doing definitely is impacting their lives. And I think that the most severely injured veterans deserve it. They deserve to live in a house that is literally built to accompany whatever disabilities they might have.
And how can they how can people donate money and time? Like
www.hfotusa.org. Homes for Our Troops USA.org. So hfotusa.org.
Awesome. And Corey's probably not going to give us an American charity. I most likely. He's probably going to give us a Canadian charity. And and I welcome the diversity here on this panel. Even if I don't like Canadians. So
fair.
go right ahead.
I don't like them either because I'm Quebec. So I can only recommend a charity that I have as the best, as the one that I have personal experience with, out of pure selfishness, because I have the condition, the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of Canada, that I think does a lot of good work. I volunteered with them. I've also given money, in addition to a good peer-to-peer support program, which very often this condition is diagnosed in young people, and it's obviously life-changing. And so there's a peer-to-peer mentoring program that I think is very good. They also fund scientific research because there's also an unmet need when it comes to the scientific research angle. And I think, and if you want, there's an American version, the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America.
It's the better version. Sorry, go ahead.
Probably because they're probably just bigger and have more money, and probably spend more money in marketing, or maybe waste more money in marketing. And I think they have the similar thing of a peer-to-peer support program, also good information, also fund scientific research, because just like virtually every disease and condition, they're largely underfunded, or the scientific research is underfunded. And I will provide the links in your channel for both of them.
Awesome. Thank you. Real quick, where'd that guy go? Can I get a Discord ban on that guy that you debate, bro? He's like DMing me all kinds of wild stuff and insults. Just give him a quick ban. Appreciate it. He's just being wild. So sorry about that. I was just dealing with a little back end. Awesome. Thank you for the links. And last but not least, here to likely pimp invisible children and other scams. Binks BB, what is your favorite charity and why?
I'm just saying, if you don't want Coney in 2022, then maybe you should. All right. No, seriously. The only one I could really think of is Second Harvest Food Bank. It's based in New Orleans. Does a lot of work for hurricanes and shit like that. Big hurricane season this the next few months. So I may be using it. Who knows? Donate. I'll send a link if y'all want.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, if people want to give like an outro, if you want to keep hanging out, you can keep hanging out, in the stream or whatnot. But I'm going to move on here soon, pimp the charity that we love so much here, Games for Love, and a little bit, and do a quick ad break, and use the restroom because that hot sauce. And then we will get into the phase where anyone can debate me on anything. So if you want to debate me, doesn't matter what it is, what you feel like I'm wrong about, or what you want to like critique me on, just hop into the Discord.
I'll debate you on why Obi-Wan is the best Star Wars series.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
Oh god.
Ugh.
High five, Corey. Yes.
Oh god. Oh god. If that's what you want to debate me on it. Hop into the live stream waiting room and we'll do this for as long as it goes until it peters out before we move on to the next content. But yeah, Binks, if you want to give an outro and tell people where they can find you and kind of like what you're about here on Twitch and other platforms.
I'm Binks. I'm a streamer, a lover, a fighter, scientist, engineer, poet. Thank you for inviting me, Scott, for your charity. Hope
of course
you get more money. And
yes. We made our original goal, but now we got to get to 2K. But don't forget, guys, there will be raffle tickets at one point.
I pray to Allah every day for Ancapistan to come to make everyone a millionaire.
Yes. Praise be upon him. Oh shit. Corey.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. Super grateful to be here, and along with the other panel members. And I also want to say, just personally, I think what you're doing is great. The charity that you selected is awesome. As someone, as I sort of alluded to, who's been hospitalized multiple times when I was younger, and this is before the time of like really portable laptops, before the time of smartphones. When I was hospitalized in a children's hospital, the only form of entertainment was like rolling in that CRT screen for a VHS movie or a video game console. That was at that time, I think, Nintendo 64, which was like pretty much the only source of entertainment. And that at least somewhat kept my sanity, although you probably argue that I'm no longer sane anyways. But so I think their cause is super great, and also providing support for people afflicted with a chronic condition to go into STEM. I'm all for that for sure. So this is a wonderful
I bet you
cause.
would be.
This totally aligns with me almost perfectly, and so fantastic. Super grateful that you're doing it. And
Make
to be
sure you put
invited,
your channel. Make sure you put your channel in the chat.
I will do that. I'm Corey Campbell. I'm a PhD candidate in biochemistry, and I also work for a biotech startup part-time. I stream science, research, a little bit of politics, and I do the occasional workout stream. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv Corey Campbell 84, and on Twitter and Instagram at literally it's Corey Campbell, and I'll provide my links.
Awesome, Sprouticus.
Thank you so much.
I noticed you rated in. It looks like you're getting out of here for the night. But
no, I'll stay in here. I just didn't want my stream up anymore. So
fair enough. So yeah, let everybody know where they can find you.
So you can find me at twitch.tv/thespraticus or twitter.com/thespraticus. I think we all gave really good charities. And I think it's a really good thing to donate to charity. If you have the money. If you don't have the money, I wouldn't necessarily feel bad about it. There's always times when we're down, when we don't have the money to necessarily give to someone else. But maybe when you get that money later on, you can think back and be like, now I have the money to give, and now I have the ability to give and actually give. Just make sure you don't just pledge and you actually donate.
Yeah, for sure. But also, nah, fuck you guys. Donate now, even if you don't have the money. I'm kidding, please. If you do not donate money you don't have. PrimeCayes.
Hey, so before I get into it, I gotta ask, Corey, were you serious about like debating our friend Scott here on? Obi-Wan?
If you want to take,
dude, I'll take the challenge. The gauntlet is thrown for all.
With me on it, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you could allow me to go first, right? Me and Corey. If Corey wants to tag team with me.
If you two want to debate, while I like if you two want to debate this like yourselves, I'm all for it. It's a charity stream. It's a wild night.
No, I'm on his side, so I will.
So you want to do 2v1? Let's fucking go.
Yeah. If we can do that,
I'll do a 2v1.
We do that first after you use the bathroom, all that. Then I will stick around. For that, I want that fight. I want that smoke.
Let's go. I'll have you know that I haven't seen the last episode because it was such a shit fucking show that I couldn't stomach seeing part 4.
Oh my god!
Yet to see it.
Can't handle all the diversity.
Can't handle all the diversity. Oh my god! Yes, I'm so pumped. I'm like super pumped right now. Okay.
All right, let's go. That's fun. That's fun.
My name is PrimeCayes. PrimeCayes. Come check us out. All the people here have been on my panel at one point, the open panel or closed panel. We got a lot of smart individuals here, so it's great fun having them. We're always looking for more individuals, so if you want to be a part of open panels, come through. We have a lot of fun. And if you're impressed, we'll invite you to the closed panels, right? If you think you are as argumentative as Scott, right, and you want to get on a panel with him, then I can make that happen for you. So come through. We'd love to have you follow our channel. And thank you so much, Scott, for this opportunity. Seriously, thank you for hitting me up. That was really kind of you.
Of course. To be part of thank you for coming. Like, it's for a good cause, and it's hard to get people together. I want these people, soft giving, I think we're allowed to say that, soft giving, that they represent a lot of different charities and stuff, and they work with a lot of streamers and stuff, but they haven't really dipped their toes in the Twitch politics space. So I'm glad that a lot of Twitch politics people that are passionate about a lot of issues, were able to kind of show up and swing in and talk, so that we can see that this is a space that might be able to do a lot of good, because I think our audiences are likely probably more motivated in giving towards causes than kids watching Amaranth. That's all I'm saying.
I think Amaranth's bank account says otherwise.
Look, no. I'm saying ratio wise, like relative, right? Like, it's like none of us got 4,000 viewers, all right? And I don't know that that's necessarily a cause. I don't know that Amaranth's really charity at this point. All right, so
he owns a few horses.
Okay, so we're gonna do a 3-minute ad break. Like, we're just using this. We only do ad breaks to cut off pre-roll ads, so people don't have to watch ads. So get a snack, do your thing. We're going to do 3 minutes ads. I'm going to use the restroom, fill up my water again. And when we come back, if you want to join the Discord, we'll do a quick pimp of the charity again, because it's a great charity. But hop in the live stream waiting room if you want to be up next. We're going to start it off after we get back with Corey Campbell and PrimeCayes trying to convince me that Kenobi is passable, good, the greatest. I don't know.
Way more than passable.
Okay. All right. So we will be back in just a moment. You guys hang out. Like I said, we'll be right back in 3.
All right. I'll see you later, Scott. All right.
Take care, Binks.
Mark.
Yeah,
he gets
nice talking to you, Binks. Seriously.
Later, Binks.
Good. See you guys.
I'll be watching in chat, but because I don't want to just sit here and just do react like the entire time, just like.
But
it's up to you.
You're bringing the sex appeal, Sprouticus, okay? All right, we hate that all the time. But it was really nice talking to you, buddy. Like,
now I know why you have me on my panels. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great one, guys.
Pleasure.
Okay, buddy. So, this other person, are you Scott's partner?
Yes, I am the oft-named yet rarely seen co-host. Yes.
Okay.
He's the Andy Richter of the stream.
Yeah,
Oof.
I'm actually
That hurts.
really excited to see you, because, like, he has talked about you often. I just never had any idea. So it's very nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I love seeing Scott on the panels, because he needs to get that energy out somehow.
What happens if he doesn't? I'm curious now.
He starts humping
Not
the
much
couch.
is different. No, not much is different. I just smoke more weed and put my headphones a little bit louder. Just let him go.
So you're an ANCAP like him?
We have some minor differences. Like, I'm kind of 100% for Eris's public executions deal. Like, I'm for it.
Well, we had actually a talk about executions yesterday. In fact, yeah, we were having a conversation about that yesterday on my channel in Reverie with Scott. And I was saying how I'm not against execution. Oh yeah, you weren't there, Corey, for that one. But I was saying that I wasn't against executions. Theoretically, but in actuality, because of our system, because I don't trust our judiciary, then I can't actually back it.
Oh no, they fuck up all
Given
the
the
time.
history of people of color in the justice system, there's no trust. What are you talking about? Like,
Can't do it.
What?
Crazy.
What, you mean black prostitutes generally had their murders at serial killers' hands not investigated for decades on end? Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Did you
like,
But
obviously this is like not a reality, or can be a reality. But if there actually was like a perfect justice system, you would potentially hypothetically be in favor of public executions.
well, the thing was on public executions. But executions.
Okay.
Maybe am I absolutely opposed to making them public? But what I'm not sure because of the specific people I was talking about, right? So it's the worst of the worst. People who have done wide scale damage, and so I was talking about the people who committed the 2008 financial crash, right? The people on Wall Street who massively like profited from that, who like engineered the whole thing. They may have not meant the market to necessarily crash, but they knew exactly what they were doing, and like the
they basically got away scot-free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the scale of suffering that they caused, like these some guy who shoots up a 7-Eleven and gets the death penalty, right? Has the scale of suffering that he has caused does not come close to what they have done, and they've gotten away with it. So yeah, I would be very happy of executing them. I'd be very happy making an example of them for the rest of Wall Street. That yes, we will come after you. It is serious. We're not fucking around. I would love that. So
yeah, I can understand the sentiment. Totally, like they should have been punished. I have some very mixed feelings about capital punishment.
Yeah, it's not exactly a one size fits all solution.
Oh, certainly not. No, certainly not. We won't want that one size fits all. No, not at all. But I was saying, because people challenge me, like, what about restorative justice? And I agree with restorative justice. For most crimes, I think that would be appropriate, right? And I use the example of sexual assault. That people want, most people who suffer that are suffering at the hands of someone they know, and they don't want them necessarily locked up in jail. It's like not someone like in a bushes that jumped them and beat them up or something, right? It's someone they love who was hurting them, and they want them to stop, and they want them to understand why they did was wrong. They want them to apologize and that kind of stuff, and like be a better person.
I was actually like watching so yeah, you're not of the doobie position of basically just like kill them all, more or less. Like commit a crime, a little bit of theft, you're toast. And it's like
the hot sauce, dude.
And also, Mark, if people in my chat want to know like what's on your head,
that would be a barcode and curly hair for one of the
redemptions. One of the punishments.
Or redemption.
Oh my god.
However you want to call it.
I've been fasting on every stream, but like I legitimately think that something needs to get into me. Like I was like, no. Like I need something in my stomach right now.
Yeah, do that right now, please. I hope you feel better soon.
Well, since you need something in your stomach, we do have that final redemption we have to get.
The fish sauce?
I'm not doing the fish sauce yet. I'm like, it will legit make me yoke.
Yeah,
we will do it tonight.
I would do it right before you like end the stream, or like a few minutes before you end the stream.
Yeah, there we go. So we're moving on to the portion where you can debate me on anything. And to kick this off, make sure that you get into the Discord, okay? And get into the live stream waiting room. You can debate me on anything. While you guys do that, we're gonna play another quick video from Gamers for Love. This is all right. So we're going to do one more. We're going to do a quick video. I'll share it with you guys. And then we will get back into, this is the charity that is being sponsored. If you want to donate money to Games for Love, I keep saying Gamers for Love because it sounds better, but Games for Love, just hit that, say the word charity in stream, ! Charity, ! Donate, or scroll down and just click the link that is in the panel. It just says click here and you can donate. Later on tonight, we will do If you stick around, we will do a raffle, and during that raffle, during that 10-minute window, you can donate, and the more you donate, the more raffle tickets you get. And if you win and you're the top and you win the raffle prize, then you will get an item worth $120 from Games for Love, and I want that item bad. So let's just play this real quick, and then we will get into the debate me on anything portion.
Can we see it too? Can you put us on screen?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
I'm sorry.
often forgets to do that.
Look, you know what? I'm real bad about this. All right. We'll go back. I'm sorry.
Do you remember your first time going to the hospital? I can. It's a pretty scary experience as a kid. Imagine if that same hospital wouldn't treat you if you didn't have money in hand at the time that you needed that help. That's exactly the reason why we created One Up Life Bridge. In many developing countries, you can't receive medical help without having money in hand up front before the actual need or procedure. And that leaves a lot of children susceptible to pass of completely treatable and unnecessary reasons. The cost to help either save or prolong a child's life, it might be less than you could expect. It could be as little as a cup of coffee for an IV drip, which dehydration is one of the leading causes of death of children in developing countries. Come partner with us and be a part of One Up Life Bridge and help us save the lives of children.
You know what? I did sign a non-disparagement clause, but that was the more boring video. I'm gonna be real. That one was pretty boring.
He also, I don't know, seems like very nervous talking.
Yeah. The videos are a little awkward. I think that they would be much better if
like he's being held at gunpoint. I don't know.
Oh, sorry, wrong panel. I think they would be much better if 1575. I missed it because I hit the wrong button. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me give it due. Let me give it its due. Ranger and Rogue. Hey, sorry I couldn't make it. That's okay, brother. I know things happen. You can hop on any other time if you want to debate me on something. We're in the debate me portion. We're kicking this off right now, right this second. Let me stop talking. They want to tell me that Kenobi is a great Star Wars show, and I believe it was PrimeCayes that wanted to begin the discussion.
Okay, so I think that Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? Yes, Kenobi is it's a. I don't want to say it's like the greatest show, because I do have my complaints as well. But I think it's a solid try. I think that I like bringing in the Inquisitors, right, to the big screen. Oh, not the big screen, the silver screen, and introduce them to a larger audience. I think the third sister, which is the
Reva,
one that,
Reva's third sister.
Yes, I think that she is doing a fantastic bang up job, and I just see a lot of potential for this. And yeah, I want to be able to respond to Scott's points, because I know Scott has a lot of issues with it, so I want to be able to respond, down that line.
Yeah, and I echo pretty much a lot of Prime sentiments of like, I'm not gonna. I was obviously being a little bit exaggerating, like it being the best. I think it's totally good, solid entry, and obviously depends on how they wrap it up. But like, I think a lot of the criticisms that are levied towards it are largely not unjustified, but like there seems to be a lot of criticism towards the character Reva or the actor who plays Reva, which like at the end of the day, they're like working with a script. And like at the end of the day, I think the performance is like totally fine, and any sort of like most criticisms levied toward them are like unjustified. But I think
I agree. I do think that there is a conservative kind of like knee-jerk reaction to Disney's The Forces female campaign and their obvious push for diversity, and so often characters like Tran, or the female playing Reva, they get a lot of bad press, or they get a lot of the attacks. I would still say this is one of the worst pieces of Star Wars trash that is Disney fan fiction, and I can make that justification without ever really mentioning her character.
Worse than
or her
Book
script.
of Boba Fett?
Yes, absolutely, definitely worse. I would call Book of Boba Fett is not an appropriate title. I would call that Mandalorian season 2.5.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be the more appropriate title for the Book of Boba Fett. So here, now I will admit, I have not seen the last episode. I was going to wait to do a reaction, and then I just didn't have the energy in me to watch such horrible trash produced by Disney that just wants to shit on its fandom and shit on Star Wars. That like I couldn't muster to do it. And I'm not even sure if I'm going to do a reaction because I feel like my criticisms of the first 3 parts are enough to make anyone like kind of never want to see the rest. So why is it that you think that this is good and you believe that the criticisms are just because of the Reva character?
Sorry, say that again. I didn't.
I mean, so. Well, the question here is like, you think it is being unjustly kind of misaligned with like other movements and things because of the potential politics involved at Disney.
Yeah, like I don't see anything wrong. Well, first of all, like yeah, I think a lot of it, as from what I can tell, obviously I'm not super entrenched in social media, but like from what I can tell, a lot of the backlash is just like this knee-jerk reaction of like, oh, any sort of like opening the door to diversity or more inclusion is like, oh no, we gotta shut it off before it gets totally out of hand, where more people are represented. Like I think they're balancing it as far as I could tell, like just fine, and like I still think they're good. They're doing good storytelling overall, and that's what I'm mostly focused on. And just as like because like when it comes to the Book of Boba Fett in comparison, like to me there wasn't really a huge evolution in the character. That was my main issue.
All right, so I guess I'll start with with part 1 and all of the issues that I have with part 1. Right. And I probably won't be able to list them all because I'm going off the top of my head, and I have hundreds of issues with like each part of them because I think it's so bad. So first and foremost, the depressed state that Kenobi is in. They do a very good job of selling depression as a sense of monotony, right? They do a good job of him, working and doing this like kind of daily grind, right?
Chopping the meat.
Right. Now if we were to compare this to episode 1 of The Mandalorian, well, episode 1 of The Mandalorian has a hero's journey. There's a descent into the underworld where he learns to ride beasts. There's multiple references to the holiday life special, both from the first alien saying that he needed to, get rid of his bowels for the holiday celebration. And then, him saying the Ugnaught telling the Mandalorian that he should know how to ride this beast easily because his ancestors rode the great mythosaurs, right? So multiple Easter eggs. There's a hero's journey in that, like he's going in that spot. There's a surprise at the end. It is typical. It's very clear that the people are passionate and they have a deep understanding of the lore. Now, when we compare this to Kenobi, right? Deborah Chow's work and whomever is kind of like managing what she's doing and whoever's doing the editing. I don't want to lay everything at the feet of Deborah Chow because often in these big corporations, you don't have a lot of push and pull. And I think Deborah Chow did great episodes for The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I was going to say
under direction of Filoni and Jon Favreau. So it's very clear that she might have a different team, or she could have produced something great and like the editing got done by somebody else, right? We don't really know. But the monotonous depression, it's okay, right? I think it is disrespectful to a certain degree to sell Kenobi as just like a disheveled, depressed, ineffectual person as opposed to showing him being haunted, right? Because I think there's a certain reverence for Obi-Wan that is now being shown in a totally different light. And like, presumably the character goes, as the show goes on, gets better in that regard, right? Obviously has a redemption arc from Dave Filoni in Star Wars Rebels when he finally defeats Darth Maul. The problem is that the way that this was shown on camera was shown with the monotonous, working where he's stealing food and either no one gives a fuck and all the food gets stolen all the time, or literally none of the aliens on Tatooine have any fucking eyeballs because every day he's cutting it off and slowly putting it in his pouch in front of fucking everybody, right? Like, this is stupid. This is bad editing. It doesn't make any sense. It should have been fixed. Again, his dreams, they show a couple flashbacks from episode 3. They show some haunting kind of, but they show it as like a fever dream, as if to means to sell us that he's haunted, but he's not acting haunted. He's acting depressed. So you show us haunted, and then you also show us depressed. You don't connect the two emotions, right? There's so many better ways to show this. Now, when we look at Anchorage, the only reason that we know it's Anchorage is because they say it's Anchorage. If I was to show you these scenes and say, is this Mos Eisley? Is this Mos Espa? Is this Anchorage? Or is this is this Dantooine, right? A desert area in Dantooine? You would not fucking know. Why would you not know? Because the studio, the set limitations were atrocious. The CGI only zoomed in like once or twice. And then mostly what they're showing is the same fucking market over and over again that could be anywhere in Tatooine. This is bad set design. The diversity of aliens was fixed. I love Dayu in part 2. But in episode 1, there was little to no animatronics, which Star Wars is so famous for. There was very few diversity in aliens. Right?
Alien diversity good, human diversity bad.
I never said that I have a problem with.
I'm strong.
I do have a problem. I do have a problem with the lore over and over and over again. It's very clear that the writers of this don't understand Star Wars lore. Because, go ahead.
When the reason why I wanted to have this fight was because specifically when you were on my show, not this week, but last week, you brought up Konobi and you talked about like the push for like wokeism through Disney. Like that's what you said. Am I incorrect?
Yeah, I've got examples of that regardless of Reva, but that's part of it. Like there's obviously some woke push with Reva, but it's not got nothing to do with her fucking.
Sorry, but
like, I mean, it might have something to do with
when
her
you say that a woke push there, and I know you're not trying to concentrate on it, but like that's important to say that it's a woke push. What that sounds like to me, and you can correct me if this is not what you're saying. What that sounds like to me, you're saying that this person doesn't necessarily deserve their part. That like they're a diversity hire.
No,
right? That's what it sounds like. No. You can correct me, please. I want to hear what you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is that there should be a respect for Star Wars lore, and that you use established lore and you write stories within that. I don't give a fuck what. Like I think Reva's doing a great job, and of some of the things that I thought were cringe, I honestly think is the script. It's not her.
Yeah.
I think it's trash writing. And the trash writing is what really is the issue here, because Reva's a third sister, but she's a human. She's the only human of the Inquisitors. Now, if you know just basic Star Wars lore, you understand that there's a hierarchy of races in the racial supremacy of both the Empire and throughout all of the iterations of the Empire. This is Exar Kun. This is like all of the Dark Jedi that create forces, etc.
Right. You are absolutely right.
She should be right, appreciated, and the racism should be the opposite way. As a human, there is only one race that is considered to be equal to humans, and that is the Chiss. The Chiss are often seen as equals, but other than the Chiss, the Sith Empire is known for its anti-alien racism, and the idea that they treat her like shit, and that there's this deference and hierarchical structure amongst the Grand Inquisitor and Inquisitors towards her, and all this trash talking as she's a human makes no fucking sense.
Okay,
it's for our audience to see, not for the lore.
Okay, Scott. So one, I appreciate that you have a deep knowledge, like just talking to you. You have a deep knowledge of the lore. As do I. You can't see it here, but on this bureau in the back, on the top of it are dozens and dozens and dozens of Star Wars novels, right? So like,
unless it's Thrawn, yes.
Yeah.
Someone was like, no, Chiss are just below, unless it's Thrawn. Like, fair enough. Yes.
Yeah.
But like, Chiss are tolerated in a way that other aliens aren't.
Yeah. They were willing to work with them. I feel you. So I hear what you're trying to say, but I think it actually works in the Inquisitorius, right? Because it's very clear, especially if you look at the comics, right? It's very clear that Palpatine actually has a very low opinion of the group, right? Like he's using them as hunters, but these guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's an it's an abandonment of the rule of two, right? And so because it's an abandonment of the rule of two, they're never supposed to be anywhere near as powerful as Palpatine or Vader.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. I
They're only
guess
supposed
so.
to be given scraps of knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Like a
Dark
desire
Jedi.
for power, but never have any real power.
Exactly. Yes. They're dark Jedi, and yeah, like in the expanded lore, as I'm sure you know, right? There's like the hands of Palpatine, and they go out there and do a lot of like assassination work. And
That as well as the Umbara shadow assassins. Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason why I think it's fine that it's led by an alien, right? But led by an alien, and filled with other aliens. One is because these people are some of them are from the Jedi Order, and so it's gonna want people from there, right? And two, because he actually doesn't care. Like his focus is on Vader, right? Like that's his focus on. And there's a clear hierarchy. Vader comes in and he like takes over training, right? First of all, he kicks the ass of the Grand Inquisitor. Within the
I'll let you know, most of the all the new Disney Star Wars shit I have mostly avoided out of like not because I'm trying to avoid it, but because I'm just uninterested in it. To me, it just reads like fan fiction. But
okay, well, the point is that there's a clear hierarchy here, right? That hierarchy that you're talking about is a human on top. That human is Vader, and it just happens to be that in this assortment of Dark Jedi that the Emperor doesn't give a shit about. Yeah, this is one human, right? And then that happens to be a POV character, so it works for that.
Yeah, it's just
also I'm not as steeped in like I only know the movies. I haven't seen Clone Wars and all that stuff, so I'm totally outmatched when it comes to lore. But also it's like
I'm willing to bet both of us have done way more than just the Dave Filoni cartoons.
Yeah,
you know,
read probably like 200 books. Yeah,
exactly. That's I will fully concede. Like, yeah, your knowledge like is infinitely more than mine. But this is just like sort of a little bit of my perspective, or maybe more casual viewers' perspective. And this is brought up sort of my chat in terms of like, is it possible that they just simply dislike the third sister because it seems like it looks like they came from the Jedi, and so there's that history behind it.
There's a lot of reasons, right? Like, I mean, like Sith have always the rule of two is established to stop infighting amongst the Sith. So there's always infighting amongst the Sith. So it makes perfect lore sense that Riva would be, you know, chastised in some degree by the Grand Inquisitor, and that, you know, the credit would be stolen and things like that, right? But the thing is that it comes out the gate with Riva being like constantly chastised in such a way that feels disconnected from the racism that should be present. And maybe Disney didn't want to touch on that racism, right?
Maybe it's the other way around though, right? Like if you're saying that there is supposed to be a level of racism, then it makes sense that also aliens would have racism towards human. I think we've seen that within the expanded universe, right? Where aliens are like, we don't like humans, right? And for very fucking good reason, right? They have a good reason to fucking hate us.
It's usually a lot of it's cultural. Like Achani fucking hate humans because they won't fucking tell the truth. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of different reasons. Yeah,
but yeah, they could recognize, and I don't think that's important, right? Like the fact is, Dark Jedi tend to not get along. People, dark side users, tend not to get along. There is a fractious relationship within this organization. That is fine. And moving on from that, going to the depressed Obi-Wan, I think that was fantastic, right? We're seeing come
on, you can't say that was done well.
No, I think it is. I think that I mean, if you're saying that there could be some sort of improvement, I'm sure there could be. But the fact that Obi-Wan is depressed, that he is a clearly broken man.
He's lost everything, like literally.
He's he's sitting there, and he's like, imagine being on that planet for years, right? Like knowing that almost everyone you knew and loved has been killed. Right?
You killed your own best friend. Or
if you want to be depressed,
student.
if you want to be depressed, sell me depressed. What they did instead is just bad cinematography. Okay, what they did instead, right, is just poor craft. It's just poor craftsmanship. They gave you visions that show haunted, and then they give you monotony that shows depression. Then they give you bitch energy when talking to Owen, and then they give you this weird conversation with a Jawa that's by himself, which is like, who is this Jawa? I want an explanation of this Jawa. Why is there a single trader Jawa? Jawas almost always travel in groups for protection, and like, why is this Jawa like like more friendly, but then they like throw in the comical stealing of his own parts and selling it. So like this is supposed to be Obi-Wan giving up, but he's not selling depressed. Like he's going through a range of chaotic emotions, and none of them are connected in one way. What they should have done is they should have made they're trying to make a dynamic character, but it doesn't sell. It just doesn't, because it's disjointed and it's poorly done. I would say it might even be that it's poorly edited, right? There may be additional scenes that or additional ways that this could have been edited to make it the chaotic things seem better, but it's just not well done. It's not well done Star Wars. It's not well done cinematography in general from someone that has a massive amount of budget. So there's that. There's other issues that I have, right? The fact that Reva kills the Grand Inquisitor or doesn't, right? Because we know she doesn't, right? But I haven't seen the last episode. I don't know if he's back.
He hasn't come back yet. I'll say that.
Okay, but
by the way, spoiler alert in chat.
Well, I mean, all right, fair enough. But I mean, sorry, like, well, if you've seen other things, then you know that the Grand Inquisitor's alive. But the fact that she does so in front of him easily, like without, like, where was the subtlety? Where was the assassination? Where, like it makes no sense for a Force user such as the Grand Inquisitor to not have any sense of the impending doom or murderous intent from Reva to do a full frontal assault and just stab him in the gut. It's fucking bad writing.
Okay. So I will give you that, but right, I will say that's kind of endemic to the expanded universe, especially outside of the novels. I think the novels do a better job of this. But in, for instance, the Clone Wars, right? The Force works when it wants to, right? Like, there's so many problems that they have, like during the Clone Wars, the series, right? That the Force could easily solve. And then they don't. They forget that they can. Right, I can just levitate this dude over to me, and then that's fine, right? Like
the Force has a will of its own, right? The Force has a will of its own, which is the big problem that Kreia has when she wants to get rid of the Force, right? Darth Treya, right? Like she wants to destroy the Force, right? Because the Force has a will of its own, and so it's constantly causing these wars, right? But it would have been like, I can write better Star Wars than this. Like, you easily could have rewritten that scene, right? Where he comes in, the Grand Inquisitor comes in, he's angry that she's on this chase. He's angry that he's left out and that she's like circumnavigating what she's supposed to be doing in some regard, right? And she's somewhat apologetic, and then understanding, but she like bows her head, and then the camera pans from her bowing her head as he walks by, and you see the murderous intent in her face, and then she has some one-liner there that's powerful, and she stabs him in the back. It's not that fucking hard to write better Star Wars than the entirety of all of the fucking billions that Disney has. This is a problem to me. Like, what I just wrote is better than what was there. Why is it that I can do that when I'm just a fucking fan and like I'm like a anarcho-capitalist politics streamer?
So what is your exact issue from before? Because before you were talking about how easily she had the ability to do so, right? One or the other. Like, so my problem with that is that the Force does not let him know, right, that this is coming, and he takes no action whatsoever. And this common problem when it's being filmed, I think, that they do this for all kinds of reasons. But in any case, the point is that that's my issue. Is that he didn't put up a fight, or she didn't do it in a way.
Didn't use subtlety, the way the dark side is meant to be done, right? It's subtlety, it's assassination, it's trickery,
that would make
it's
sense
subterfuge.
For a Force user. I that would be okay. That would be better for me. But like, it's not so much the problem with like, if the Force isn't going to work, then the Force isn't going to work, right? So I don't necessarily care if she kills someone in a slightly more subtle way if the Force isn't going to work the way like we imagine it to, right? So like it doesn't bother me. You had said something else I really wanted to respond to, but I'll have to think a bit later.
But like to me, as someone much less steeped in lore and basically ignorant on lore outside the films, like to me, I just always view the Force as inconsistent. Like it's more like they write it as whatever happens to suit the story or the narrative. Because at least before before
It's
the
not
Force Awakens.
inconsistent. It's
Before
not
the Force
inconsistent.
Awakens. So yeah, but just from my perspective, like so before the Force Awakens, like during one of the early opening scenes where like Kylo Ren like stops a blaster, like I didn't know that that was a thing. Before that, like that the Force is able to do that. That was like a brand new thing.
It was a thing in some expanded universe, and
Yeah,
then
well,
it got
that's
canonized.
but as someone who's only seen the movies, that was like, oh, okay, well, I guess now the Force does that now.
Well, I mean,
so, like,
Darth Vader blocked blast with both of his hands, right?
blocked, but like to suspend it in air, like and
That's
just have
not
it
that
frozen.
big of a. That's not big of a jump, though, right?
Yeah, but I have like 0.1% of your knowledge and experiences, so like I.
Yeah,
but no, but
well,
that's
to explain
movies,
it, the Force isn't inconsistent. What the Force is constantly seeking balance in the universe. It doesn't pick a side between dark side or light side, but it does have a will of its own, and that will is balance, right? This is why Luke Skywalker is kind of able to do so much that he's able to do, because there's a desire, a will of the Force, right, for balance to be achieved. And so when one side has too much power, if you will, is out of balance, right? It's the philosophy is yin yang, right? It's like when there's too much yin, when there's too much yin or there's too much yang, there's that orb, right? That is the spontaneous kind of blasting out of that, right? And so the Force moves in waves. The dark side of the Force is one that moves on tumultuous waves that dark side users kind of have to ride at the very top. And if they don't ride at the very top, they're crushed by it, right? The light side is one of peace and calm, but ultimately power surges and moments surge that are kind of like gifts from the Force towards the goal of that balance in the universe. So Reva easily could have been that wave, that ambitious spirit, right? Whereas other people got lazy and complacent. And that drive gives her that surge of dark side power that rips through his, lazy, no longer aware, no longer constantly alert for treachery, kind of attack coming from them, shielded by the dark side of the Force.
So then you think? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, so like based off of like what's how they're handling the Reva character so far, I don't know for sure, but it seems like because it seems like you're coming from the angle of like Reva like fully embracing the dark side and like whatever using the full dark side tactics.
I haven't seen the last episode, but it seems like she's like half in, half out.
Right,
Like,
that's
it
sort of
seems like they're
yeah.
trying to sell this idea that she's gonna have a
maybe
redemption arc.
or a turn of some sort, and like that's sort of how I whether that's true or not, I have obviously no idea. But that's sort of like where I approach it from. Like they might just be setting up or leaving the door open for a turn, and that's somewhere down the road, and that's why they're not fully embracing sort of whatever the true dark side. That's how I process it.
The thing that I had a problem like with the show, like I'll give my big complaint. That
my biggest problem is actually Leia, to be honest.
I was gonna, you had to beat me to it. Like Leia running away from those guys. She's 10 years old.
I agree.
And they couldn't catch her. And then there's that scene where like they're in the branch chasing her, and the branch, yes, the branch.
But it's the same scene. It's the same weird obsession with bad chase scenes that's in part 2, right? In part 2, Obi-Wan, you could have easily sold that, right? Like it would have been so simple to sell that chase scene on is it Dainu? Is how you pronounce it? I apologize. I'm not. Regardless, the Nar Shaddaa clone. We'll just call it the Nar Shaddaa clone. It's a new planet. It's just like Nar Shaddaa. Okay. But anyways, like that chase scene, easily you could have quickly solved that by like having one cut to Kenobi and him just being like him like her running and like him chasing, and then having like a moment where he's like looking around and trying not to draw attention, and like someone like peeking their head up to like, what's going on over there? And he like, kind of like quickly walks around, right? You could have easily made a scene that made that chase scene make sense. But instead, he's doing like a full fucking dummy jog. And then like there's multiple times where he's within arm's reach and it's a 10-year-old girl and he can't grab her. It's bad. It's just poorly fucking done.
No
The fire in episode 3 is horrible. It's like he drags him through the fire, and then the random girl is like, I shot something. And then Vader's like, what's happening? I don't know. Pull him through the fire again.
Yeah.
Like, are you afraid?
I process it differently. I process it as in I think they set it up pretty clearly in my mind of like, Vader is now so much more powerful than Obi-Wan. Like, I think he feels like he can pretty much kill him anytime he wants. And to me, it's just like, fine, I'll chase my food, but it's the confidence of knowing that you're dead eventually. Like that's why, like, I fully agree. There's potentially the inconsistency of like, Vader showed that he can put out the fire anytime that he wants. But it
It's
seems
possible.
to me,
It's
it's like you want to run,
possible.
but like I process it of like your fate is inevitable.
The confrontation also is a bit of a retcon, right? Because you have Vader in episode 4 saying, like, when we last met, you were the master and I was but a student. And now it's like he's super powerful and he can fuck him up anytime. But I guess, Kenobi's going to reestablish his connection to the Force that they've hinted at but haven't shown, that he's disconnected from the Force in some way, and then be all the much better, more powerful than Vader for another confrontation, so that makes sense, hopefully.
They
but
showed
even
that
then,
in
it's
more in
stupid.
episode 4. That
Okay, I don't see that. Yeah, I haven't seen
an
that.
issue.
But
go
ahead, Prime.
It's just it's so, like, you see so many moments where, like, just someone that was passionate could have fixed these scenes. I could have fixed these scenes, and I'm no expert in any of this shit.
I look, I won't say that you're not bringing up some good points. I just don't see this. So I can acknowledge some of the shortcomings that you're pointing out, right?
Absolutely.
But to go from there to saying that this is the worst Star Wars property, right? That's a leap, right?
What's better? What is this better than?
What is this better than, right?
I really hated Book of Boba Fett personally. But
I don't know. I didn't mind that either.
Well, I didn't say,
but if it's not the worst, then what is it better than?
No. Okay. All right. Okay. So, in terms of like storytelling and all that, like I think it's better than a lot of a few seasons of Clone Wars. I'll say it. Now, there were some seasons of Clone Wars that were not
like
good.
you sure. I'll give you that Kenobi is a little bit better than some seasons of Clone Wars that is specifically designed for like young children. You know what I mean? Like, but like, sure, I'll give you that. As an adult watching Clone Wars, a show specifically designed to be silly and goofy for
it's
kids,
better than
little kids.
It's better than what's it called? The one I hated so much. Fuck, I always forget the name of this one. Star Wars not Rebels.
Bad Batch?
No, not the anime series. The movie, or the one of the Star Wars story movies. The one with the
Solo, a Star Wars story?
The one with the Death Star plans. The Death Star plans.
Rogue.
Remember that?
Oh, you mean like Rogue One?
Rogue One. I did not like Rogue One. Rogue One was not good.
I liked Rogue One.
Wow.
I liked Rogue One, to be honest. Rogue One is usually considered by the fans to be one of the better Disney franchises.
I like Solo. I actually I hadn't seen Solo in theaters, right? And everyone was panning it. It was absolute garbage. Then I actually watched it. I had a really good time with it.
I agree. I watched a lot of people like geeks and gamers and shit be like, it's super fucking woke and the robot AI intersects, blah, blah, blah. And I watched it and I was just like, yeah, I mean, it makes Han Solo look like a bitch in the beginning, but I mean, like, that's his hero story.
Yeah.
Like, that's him starting off as a bit. We were all little bitches until we get our hearts crushed. And then we learn, fuck these bitches. And then we go out and we become smugglers. Like, I'm down with it. It's fine. I will say, like, the other big issue, and I want to hit on this, and I want this to be the last debate topic so I can bring in other people, because this wasn't supposed to be the Star Wars debate time. My last issue, I have a lot of other issues, but I'll say the more powerful one. The one that I really, really have issue with is the inherent wisdom of Princess Leia as a 10-year-old, and her character being not so much a brat, but better than. And the idea that she's more moral because of her like robot, like her, presenting personage to robots, but even more so her ability to use the Force. It is very clear that even in part 1, 2, and 3, she is already exercising extreme control of her Force sensitivity and her ability to understand people's emotions and manipulate them based off of their emotions and have insights into those people. And it completely ruins Leia's hero's arc in the original trilogy, which is that she's a spoiled brat princess in episode 4, but a badass, but a brat anyways. And it is her love of Han Solo and her connection through Luke to save him that gives her better wisdom and guidance. And what this does is this establishes her as a wise, force sensitive user, as a fucking 10-year-old, and it's stupid. And it's very clearly done so that they can, it's very clearly done because people aren't connected to the lore. They're connected to the ideas and the values that they have that they want to push. And we know that Disney is super fucking woke with it. That's just is what it is. They wanted the little girl, the hashtag the Force is female is Kathleen Kennedy's brand for the new Star Wars. And lo and behold, we have Reva and the Reva spinoff, and we have retconning Leia's story so that we can make her a badass, force sensitive, wise girl at 10. And it's stupid. And they're doing it because their values are more important than the story of Star Wars.
Reva's getting a spinoff?
There's several rumors pushing out that she's supposed to be getting a spinoff. I'm sorry, I said it. I said it like as a matter of fact, but there's a lot of people saying that is occurring.
Okay. So I want to hear what Corey has to say on this. I didn't love the Leia being like super like wise for like no particular reason.
Like she's using the Force. She's using the Force.
Yeah. She's like all of a sudden empathic and can see into these things. Like,
right. That's like EU Leia when she becomes a diplomat and she's trained by Luke Skywalker, or I should say, right? Like, and then she uses the Force in diplomacy and things like that. She's doing that at 10. It's like, what the fuck is her hero's journey?
Yeah, exactly. I feel she isn't quite like a Mary Sue, right? She's not that. But I think it would have been fine if she was just a kid, right? Like maybe a kid who was mature for her age, right, and has a bit of insights. There's ways to do this, right? Where clearly she's a clever child, right, and a mature child, and a child who can handle herself in situations where you might not expect her to, right? There are ways to do that, but to like her voice, I think even changes some when she goes into those moments where she like looks into your brain, basically, right? And it's off-putting. I don't think it was necessary. I don't think it adds much to her. So I'll give you that.
Yeah. It's like I agree. I have mixed feelings on how they're portraying Leia. Of like there does seem to be sort of that contradiction that you pointed out, Scott. And I don't know anywhere close to the lore that you do, but like, yeah, clearly, like it seems like their journey with the Force started after this, but it seems like that they're establishing early. But I just more viewed it as someone who's intuitive. I don't know that they're like actually using the Force per se. At least again, since I'm not fully like established, or again, I'm ignorant of the lore.
In closing, I'll say this. Clearly, I won this, but also. Check out PrimeCayes, check out Corey Campbell 84. In closing, we will agree that it's not the worst Star Wars. So I will backpedal and compromise on that regard, because you're right. There are some seasons that Filoni did at Clone Wars that are a little bit like, ooh, this is awkward. I gotta get through seasons 3 and 4 so I can finally get to season 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And isn't Filoni involved with pretty much all the Star Wars series now, anyways?
It's difficult to know what's going on in the politics of Disney, but there are basically two factions. Jon Favreau and Filoni are on one faction, and Kathleen Kennedy is another faction. And they have very, very different views about the direction Star Wars should take, I would say. Kathleen Kennedy is very focused on diversity and inclusion and in politics. And it being representative of like a new wave and a new generation. Whereas Jon Favreau especially is really, really dedicated to maintaining what Star Wars already is. And Dave Filoni is mostly inspired by George Lucas's insistence that Star Wars be about family and about family structures and about the relationships between father and son, mother and daughter, brother and sister, and that is the vision that was sold by George Lucas, and that we shouldn't stray away from the insistence on good family and teaching people the importance of those family connections.
Interesting. I have a reflexive, and I know we're heading out. I just have a reflexive like reaction when someone says brings up the name Kathleen Kennedy, right? Because I've like been on YouTube And I've seen a lot of videos from a lot of guys who are whining and crying and bitching and moaning. And it's like Kathleen Kennedy apparently is the devil, and who was responsible.
Yeah, no, they take
for
it
all
too far.
things bad. Yeah, so
They take it too far.
Yeah,
they take
it's
it too
crazy.
far. But also,
I'm sure
when
there are
people
plenty
deny
of-
the wokeness, it's ridiculous too.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
she's
plenty of,
openly
like,
woke about doing that to Star Wars.
Well, like, I guess I have less of a problem with you, but like I know there's plenty of actual criticisms of her, right? But like when it gets to that point, like I can't find them, right? Like I know there's some good criticisms of her leadership, but it's hard for me to engage with them.
Picking Ryan Johnson. There you go. Picking Ryan Johnson for episode 8 was clearly a mistake.
Yeah, I'm not going to open that can of worms.
We'll have to have another fight on that one. We'll have another fight on that one, buddy.
I'll be on your side as well.
All right. Well, it's nice having you. Now we have some challengers in the waiting ring for debate me on anything. But why are we debating? Right? We're a Twitch politics panel, Twitch politics channel, but also make sure you hit that button charity or donate and donate a little bit of money and give a little love to Games for Love, which is an amazing organization. We'll do 1 or 2 more debates, and then we'll show another video showcasing some of what it is that they do and why we're supporting this charity. And also stay tuned. Don't leave just yet, because later on tonight at around somewhere around probably 11:30, we're going to do a raffle, a 10-minute raffle. And during that raffle, if you donate during that raffle, in about 40 minutes, donating during that raffle, you'll get raffle tickets, and those will go towards someone winning a $120 item, which we will tell you right before the raffle begins. It's an item I want.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I'll talk to you later. Everyone, please donate. Have a good one. All right.
Awesome.